I can't see because I want to be able to see comments. Are we live?
Willow Wind is live.
So she is.
Okay, guys. Good night or good evening. I don't even know what I'm saying already. Opening statement.
Good night.
Blah. Good evening. So this is my first live stream. I want to thank everybody that has subscribed to my channel to give us the opportunity to go live on. Give us the opportunity to go live on Willow Wind. You got to turn your volume down.
Doing that now.
Hey, William.
So,
Catherine, how are you?
we
Hi,
have.
Zombieland.
Hi guys.
Hey everyone.
Marie.
Oh my
Hi.
God! I'm already not going to be able to see.
Draco!
William Gates Gaming, Catherine Pierce,
Um,
Marie.
actually, you know what? I need to make mods, so let me take this phone for just a second.
Yeah, she's
We're all gonna look really silly for a
She's
minute
gonna help
here,
me make
but
mods.
we need to make mods.
Hey Catherine, we're all doing pretty good. Michelle is on.
Well, now, I can't make mods.
Why?
I don't know. It's not giving me a choice to make mods.
What's this down there? Or what's that up? Wow, I don't know.
How many are watching? You have 8 watching. You have a 2 thumbs up already.
Nice.
That will reverse your camera. That is so that you can chat if you're just using your phone.
Just wait, guys.
Hey V.
I'm not sure what this is. Hey V, how are you, hun?
Hey V, I don't have a smartphone.
Her phone's
so
pretty dumb.
Debbie's 7th is helping me maneuver through this process.
We're trying to do mods.
Hey Danny.
See, it only says report, remove.
Scroll down.
There is no scroll.
Huh.
Try putting it this way and doing it.
Oh, I'm gonna turn you.
Rotate device. Or not.
Debbie's standing on the ceiling. Wow, new trick.
Oh my gosh.
Hey
Okay.
Chris. Hey Rudy.
Alright, we'll worry about that after.
Yeah, if it comes up,
I'll
as
just
an
log
option.
into her account.
Yeah. So we want to welcome everyone who's stopping in.
Hey, Goes Paranormal, Chris, Danny.
7th is going to keep track of comments because we're using her laptop and my phone. Her laptop is, she can see the comments. I really can't. So with me tonight, I have 7th Seekers, I have Miss Adventure Girl, and I have Draco Greenleaf. And as most of you know, we're either family, friends, neighbors,
In-laws, outlaws.
Trouble childs.
Trouble children.
Yeah, partners in crime. So we have.
Hi, Michelle.
We've come up with an idea to primarily use my channel as an extension of 7 Seekers.
Michelle, thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
Hey Tammy.
We're doing that shout
Peace,
out.
much love to you, sweetheart.
Um,
Hi, Tammy.
We're waiting for people to come in, say hello, get settled, pour your drink, put
Remember,
your feet up.
thumbs up. Click that thumbs up
I'm
button.
avoiding wine for this
Very
one.
important. If you're not subscribed, already subscribe down below, please.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
If you,
Thumbs up. We love thumbs.
Yeah, subscribe and like, subscribe each other.
Sub each other, more importantly.
Support each other. Would love my channel to be a place where people can support each other. And so one of the things that we've been discussing,
And don't mind my kitchen. It's really, really tiny.
it's tiny and
It's
it's
like-
very warm in here.
How many? It is very warm in here. It's like, how many people can you fit into
Hey,
a
Wendy.
Volkswagen? Same idea with my
Put
kitchen.
my glasses on so I
Funny.
can see. So
Catherine.
we are doing
Mountain
the
Dew,
do.
here we go. We're doing the do.
We got the high test out tonight.
Robin and I splitting one.
So something that seventh, and do people know you as seventh or you're...
They know me as both.
Okay, so what do you
Seventh,
prefer?
Deb,
Okay.
either or.
So something that Deb and I have been discussing in the last few weeks.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
Hey, Paul. I can't see. Please forgive me.
Glad you can make it.
Can't see without...
I'm just yelling. K-pop. I'm yelling out names.
Can't see them with or without.
Happy Canadian. Hello, hello. How are you? Glad you can make it.
So Deb and I have been discussing opportunities we can use my channel for. Seven Seekers we primarily going to use for our investigations and live streams and videos related to that. Her own stuff that she wants to throw up there. Something that I am very passionate about is education and learning and promoting the community of just sharing ideas, networking. I was a teacher for many years. It seems to be something that I've always stayed connected to. Really want to use my channel as a forum for presenting information, for sharing ideas regarding paranormal, networking,
I think they're in my pocket.
Investigations, things like that.
Which nasty little book is this?
Oh my God, the children in the back of the room, need to send them. You guys need a recess, timeout.
She's trying to find her cigarettes.
Chocolate milk.
She's trying to find her cigarettes. Can I have cookies with my chocolate milk,
my
Mommy?
word. So we kind of threw it out there. We kind of threw it out there on the last live that Deb did. For those of you that are in favor of a forum discussion on my channel, we thought we'd start it tonight. If you guys have... Oh, bless you.
Excuse me.
Welcome to our real world. This is life, people. This is real life.
I can't make this stuff up. Trust me.
So if you guys have topics or questions or things that want this to be a community where people can go and
Catherine.
discuss things that they feel they can't discuss with those in your real life. I mean, we're building a community of like-minded people, and we want a place where people can go without judgment, without negativity, be informed, share whatever you want to share, experiences, your own personal insight, things that you have read, researched. We want you guys to throw it out there.
I think they're having hot flashes.
If anybody wants to stop... What am I missing?
I'm sending them next door.
Oh my God, I don't even know what I missed. So
Thanks, Marie.
If anybody has a topic, we have one that we thought we would start with, but if anybody has a topic that they'd like to pursue, may not be tonight, but throw it up in chat, or you can send it to my email.
Damn it, lost my
Is
chair.
my email attached to any information on my YouTube? You're my tech person.
Her email is willowwind@gmail.
No, she's already got it
it?
wrong.
willowinthewind@gmail.com.
It's spelled just like my YouTube profile name. Willow in the Wind. Willow with a Y, wind with a Y, @gmail.com. We'll make a list of topics that you guys want us to address. Or we can just have an open coffee talk night or Mountain Dew night or whatever it is that you guys want to do, because
I just put Willow's email in the chat.
Thank you.
That's
Not
why
that
you
I
have
can
me.
see it because I have to lean way down here to see it.
Mama blind.
So what we thought
There's no
we'd
caffeine
start
in
with
that.
is
I
an
checked.
opening idea. It's pretty simple. We can make this as in-depth or as fun as you guys want to make it, or as simple. We thought that we'd start out with basically the difference between spirit
Hi, Lenny. How are ya?
and ghosts.
Glad you could make it.
Welcome in the room,
Hi, Lainey.
Tammy.
Tammy's been here a while.
Oh, well, I haven't leaned down to look at the chat because I don't want people to be staring at the top of my head. So,
Ivy.
We thought it'd be interesting to discuss the difference between ghosts and spirits. If anybody has
They're coming for me.
any information you want to share. Basically, we're not going to, quote any specific author or resource. If anybody would like to know what resources we've used, Debbie and I have been studying for close to 25 years. We've known each other
years.
at least 30. We've been studying for about 25 years.
I've lived it
At
with
least
them.
together.
I'm
Right.
27, so
And
they
then
started when I was
We studied
2.
individually before we met.
We have a pretty extensive library of books and different things. So if there's any way that we can help anyone with getting information, we feel that's reputable, but it's up for everybody to decide what is your own truth. Something that we wanted to discuss today and specifically was in the world.
Hey,
of,
Sliderman, how are you? Glad you could be part of the group.
Oh, I thought that said
Slenderman.
I know. I saw his. I
Spider-Man.
saw his picture. And I'm looking and I'm like,
we have
oh, wait, no, that's
Spider-Man.
Slider.
in the
Sliderman,
house.
you are now Spider-Man.
Spider-Man in the house.
Spider-Man does
So-
whatever Spider-Man.
We really want to promote
You
that.
guys, you need new glasses. You need to get some.
I know that we want everyone's opinion and everyone's ideas to be heard and respected and shared. Something we were discussing earlier was that it's very our truth, and it's very important to us personally, is that when you're living your life or you're interested in anything paranormal, whether you have a gift or not, or you're just curious, everyone's impacted by the people in their lives, their culture, their
Yeah, thanks,
religion.
Sliderman. I wasn't paying attention. That's why I ended up thinking it's a
Spider-Man.
spider.
We have many things that impact our perceptions and, how we live our lives regarding this. Whether you're just curious, whether you've had life experiences. And we're not here to validate or discredit. We're not here to throw negative opinions around. We just want everyone to be comfortable with their own truth. And that's the important thing. That up front and foremost to anything is that we have no proof of anything that is 100% correct, incorrect, right or wrong. All we know is what is true to our own heart and to our own experiences. And for me, that's been a lifelong journey. I've struggled a great deal with allowing others to have the power to validate me and who I am. And that could be a cultural thing. It could be many things. I don't know. We all have those influences, whether it's the way we were raised, where
society
we grew up.
And one thing that Mom talked to me about yesterday was how
Louder.
it can be difficult, having the career she has, then
One foot
having
on
the
both sides.
experiences that
For
she has with
sure.
the paranormal. Because, are you comfortable with me?
Well, yeah. Well, my life in this world is a mental health professional, and my life in the other world is not. So I feel on a daily basis where I stand 1 foot on each side of the line. And what are we doing?
Never mind what I'm doing.
And I'm sure that there are many people out there that have their own personal struggle with, as we like to refer to it, is it real or is it Memorex? For those of you that remember those commercials.
Right.
Because the struggle is what you know when you're living it in the moment. For me, I know what I know in the moment. I have 100% certainty to a cellular level.
And then
to
afterwards,
my soul speaks to me with my own truth, and then I go back into the real world of ego and judgment and opinions and dealing with people on a daily basis, whether it's family, friends, associates, clients, and you have to separate yourself, and finding that balance is really difficult. And one of the things that we want to help put out there for information, and we're not experts, we're not
Thank you, William.
any more proficient at this than anyone else. I think, want to try to feel more comfortable with sharing in a community of people that get it. For me personally, try to separate. I didn't think YouTube would be such an amazing resource for me to feel that I found a place where I can get that positive energy and get that help. Well, and I'm still not a fan of the buttons.
thanks, Ghost Paranormal.
Still working on the technological stuff, but I'm getting there. And so for me, this just seemed like a fun way that we could get to know one another and what we know, share what we know, ask questions about what we'd like to know.
Thank you, William.
Thanks, Marie.
I
That
don't
is
know what we're saying,
awesome.
thank
Yeah.
Ding
you.
dong, the witch is dead.
The Wicked Witch, the Wicked Witch. Okay, that's
And
all
I'm
for
wearing
my
my
singing.
wicked hoodie too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she got to see that at Broadway, and I'm still not over it yet.
And the Lion King.
Yeah, I'm really not over that one yet.
Hey, Parapsycho,
Lucky.
how are ya? Thanks for joining us.
So,
I'd give anything
do
to
we
see
want to
Lion
just
King and Broadway.
hang out
Amazing.
tonight and keep it kind of casual and
Kind of get to know each other a little, and
kind of impromptu, or do we want to start with a subject? You guys throw out some comments and let me know. I'll let you know what the subject was anyways. We were thinking that we would just kind of start out with the difference between spirits or ghosts, or we'll just put it out there. If you guys have questions about what is the difference, we'll try to give you some information as we've learned. Doesn't mean that what we've learned is all there is to learn. Like I said, this is a lifelong learning, living thing. And I don't know how many times I've lived this, but I'm hoping this is my last time around, because this stuff is...
Can I talking stick?
Hold on.
Okay.
This is... I'm ready for this to be my last rodeo. I'm hoping I learn all the lessons this time around that I'm supposed to. I doubt it. I'm really a procrastinator, and I'm thinking
Life is always learning, no matter what.
right, but I'm
So-
thinking I got at least one more go around. I'm not very good at learning
this is
what I
my
need to.
nope. This is my last.
This is
one.
your last rodeo. I think so.
Yeah, this is my last rodeo this time.
Debbie and I have evidence
Yeah.
that we've known each other for a very long time. And I have no idea what she's writing up there. She's got her own little cue card system here.
I'm making two cuts
I feel like
so I don't
she's
interrupt her.
Hey, interrupt. But so, what do you guys think?
Little bit distracting, though.
When we
Hold on. Let's read a comment.
YouTube is awesome for everybody to share what they like and who they are. A lot of people may not agree with things that people want to share, but this is YouTube. Do what you want.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you so much. Thank
That
you
is
so
very
much.
true.
This is what we're
Definitely.
hoping. I mean, I may not do these lives alone.
Tech
I'm not.
World!
I'm
Hey,
not.
Tech, how are you? I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. M-E-J.
Mija.
Mija.
Mija?
Misha.
Mija.
Mija, am I saying that correctly? If I'm killing your name, I am so sorry, hon.
It's a beautiful name. We just don't know how to say it.
I know.
Have to put it up there phonetically. That's
Yeah,
the
phonetically.
Teacher, the teacher in me, phonetically.
Oh,
LOL.
I think we messed it up.
No.
Can we just
Is
call
it
you Life
Mia?
Diary Love?
Mia.
It's M-E-J-I-A.
Meija.
No, M-E-J-I-A. You're going to have to spell it out
So
phonetically.
not
honey.
only can we not speak, we can't see either.
Right? Mija.
Me.
Marie said Mija.
Mija.
It's okay. Yes.
Alright, so you're okay with us calling you Life Diary?
Yes, this is Draco Greenleaf and Miss Adventure Girl. For those of you
Yep, Miss Adventure Girl.
that don't know, this one's mine.
I'm the trouble child.
Miss
That's her
Adventure
fault.
Girl is community child to both Debbie and I.
Yeah,
My
community child.
doppelganger.
We've
She's
adopted
actually
her.
my neighbor.
Yeah, we've adopted her in the world.
Yep,
Of,
her parents live kind of far away, and she's out on her own for her first go round. So we're kind of helping her out, make sure she eats 3 squares a day.
when she,
You know,
3
that-
squares.
3 squares
She's
a
my
day.
Waterville mom.
Yeah, Waterville mom.
yeah, when they get out of control, we're gonna send them down the hallway to the other apartment.
Yep.
We do have a backup plan for this. We're tough enough with just Seventh and I.
Right.
So don't be surprised if in the beginning I don't do a lot of lives by myself. I just feel comfortable with my tribe.
Because
family.
Primarily it's just Seventh.
Spider-Man says hi, people.
hi. But I had a brain crumb. What was my brain crumb? Oh yeah. On the topic of what we had thought might be a good idea for the forum today. As Mom is saying, it's the difference between ghosts and spirits, and just putting it out there in case you guys want to talk about the differences between them. We had a pretty in-depth, like 20-minute, 30-minute conversation of how our different perceptions and of reality and religions have affected what we see as spirits versus ghosts, and what we include into the spirit category or into the ghost category and stuff like that, and how your feelings on religion and your religious language, because that's what I personally believe religion is. It's a spiritual language on how to explain.
What was that?
It's a fly. I think.
No.
No. Oh, it was your eraser.
No,
I thought it was
it's a pen. It doesn't have an eraser.
I thought it was a critter. Wow, now we're lifting things, moving things.
Oh.
Just don't knock the phone.
If you guys could see what we're working with here, we have like a tower of kitchen things that my phone's on in front of the laptop, which is on its own tower in our own little cockpit. If she moves the wrong thing, it's all going down.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of like a Jenga right now. Did you find the pieces?
Yeah, it was the pushy
Okay.
thingy for the
Move your
thingy.
hand. I'm taking a picture.
Of what?
Of what? Oh, the
Of
cold
the setup.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm sorry if I can't read.
Catherine, I have not seen Hen today.
My last information was she was home.
Yeah, she's home. I just have not seen her.
I'll share the
anyplace
picture that
today.
I just took on Seventh Seekers group page.
Yeah, everybody sub and each
Sub
other.
me, sub me.
Hit those like buttons on each other's channels.
Selfless promotion, people. Selfless
she's gonna
promotion.
just plug and plug and plug.
Seventh Seekers. I
Big
know.
old ego, but I love her, so I let her do whatever she wants. Really.
So
She's the only one that will tolerate me on a daily basis. If any of you caught her live yesterday, she went live because she was bored, because I wasn't at her house harassing her. I left her alone literally for 16 hours, and she had to go live because she was lonely.
No, I was bored. I needed my
And then we
peeps.
were on
I don't
the
know.
live with
And then
you.
you were
And then we
on
were
the live.
live, and then I was hanging out with her from my pathetic little phone, buffering constantly. All I could see was chat.
So we were playing the audio on me and Mom were laying in bed together, eating candy and drinking coffee.
I was listening to the audio on her phone and watching the chat on mine.
Oh my lord.
And I'm like, we just left her house 12 hours ago. It's pathetic. It's really pathetic. So
Yeah.
but that's what we do. That's what we do. I have a very small
So-
tribe.
Do you guys have questions that you want us to answer to the best of our ability and knowledge, or do you guys want us to...
That's her chin.
Who's
Start-
Channel K-Pop?
Oh, Boomer's Live.
Draco is Draco Greenleaf, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Draco
And
Greenleaf.
We have Miss Adventure,
Adventure Girl.
Yeah.
I
Difference
just
between
said
spirit
hi
and
in the
ghost.
chat, so
Yeah, you should be on your phone.
Yeah. So
can't win with these two. I know. I've lived this for 27 years.
No, that's just it. My freaking phone has decided to be a pain in the ass when it comes to YouTube.
Hey, Marie. I do the same thing. I do the
Sorry.
same
Okay,
thing.
so we have a request out there from Lenny. The
Difference between spirit and ghost.
Sorry, my language kind of gets away sometimes.
So we have a talking stick. It's
a
really
talking
an
nail
emery
file.
board,
There we go.
and I'm gonna give it to
There we
Debbie
go.
because
Get down.
I'm the first one to admit I don't intentionally interrupt people, but I get a thought in my head, and I'm like, oh, and
Just posted.
It's
Hi.
like Horseshack.
so
You
I
know,
have
from Welcome Back, Kotter.
I have to set boundaries even with myself because I don't interrupt people. I just share my thoughts exuberantly.
So we're going to have a talking stick and then raised hands.
No. Chat, you guys can just go, as fast and furious as you want.
Thank you, Tammy.
Doesn't mean that I'll read what is here as quickly, but you guys don't have to, worry about getting in line when you're in chat.
Thank you, K-pop.
Life
Thanks,
Diary.
K-pop.
Actually, that was one of the things that we were talking about.
Thank you,
in
Catherine.
this. The difference between spirits and ghosts.
I gave it to Debbie. Get in the,
okay.
Pay attention.
Okay.
Oh, this
I
is
got the
fun.
talking stick.
This is fun.
Um,
I'm my own moderator. I don't even need a moderator. I'm just going to go all mom on you.
Love you, Mom. So the difference between a spirit and a ghost in the most general
I know,
sense,
Tammy.
Is that a spirit has been able to cross over. So they have gone to the other side and they can come back and visit us.
And thank you, Tammy.
At least as far as human spirits, because you hit gray area when you start talking elementals and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's another
Right.
topic.
Okay.
But human spirits, they've crossed over and they can come back. Ghosts are
Wait, you
stuck
got 10
here.
seconds.
Thanks,
Why?
William.
Deborah.
Nothing.
You got nothing?
I'm
Wait,
looking at your group.
Miss Adventure Girl, would you like your 15 seconds? Okay.
No.
So, I guess it's back to Draco.
Yeah. So like I was saying, Life Diary,
So, excuse me,
Yeah.
but
Am I reading?
Spider said that you're all funny.
We're all funny.
We're all funny.
It's scary even when we try to be serious. We're just a bunch of wackadoodles.
We
We
should
have-
not get together in the same room.
We had a
not be silly.
conversation about being adults and being serious and organized, and it all went to you-know-where in a handbasket.
It all went right down the hopper.
When it's just us in
my
in
bra
this
hurts.
apartment.
1, 2, 3, flush.
But it's just us in this apartment, and that seems to happen. Whereas when we're out, like on a ghost hunt or something like that,
Oh, it
that's where-
happens there too. We lose
Not
you
as
in the
much.
cemetery. I walked around the cemetery for 20 minutes on my phone going, Marco, I'm over here. They lost me. There's 10,000 dead people in the cemetery. And they can't find the only living one. I'm the only
You were not the only one. You were not the only one.
I'm the only living person walking around the cemetery, and they can't find me for 20 minutes. And it was getting dark, and it was cold, and I'm like, I can see you in the van. I still have the stick. I can see her van, and I'm like, take a right, take a right, take a right. Well, it's like she was looking at me in a mirror image because she take a left. I'm like, you're on the right. She drove the other end of the cemetery. Then now you got to realize this thing's like 20 acres big. Okay, they have dead people from the beginning of time to current in this cemetery. She's like, I'm over in the Civil War. I'm over in the Civil War section. I'm like, no, I'm at the gate at the road. She can't even find the road. The main entrance. There's only two. I'm like, turn around.
Have you ever tried to turn a minivan around on those little dinky roads?
Took 20 minutes to find the
Sucks with
only.
turnarounds.
only living person in a cemetery. Yeah, here, take
You
the
are not
stick.
the only living.
Take the stick. So they lose me in a cemetery. This stuff
She's still
is
going!
it's my real life.
It's become chaos.
This is my real life. They can't be civil.
William, send you back.
You can't handle calm and
Oh, baby, I'm all about the calm. I'm about the mellow.
oh, please.
Like me.
Here, take the stick.
She's been threatening her with that for years.
You can do your rebuttal. I'm just saying, true story.
Where's the classic rebuttal of pick
Do you have the stick?
We need a bigger
You're
stick.
welcome, William.
Can't give her a bigger stick. She'll hit me with it.
You friggin' were.
All right, I'm going to step back because I'm going to indulge in... I haven't had nicotine in 4 days. I'm going to indulge. I'm going to step out of here.
I have the stick. Shut up.
Go for it.
Have you ever tried turning a minivan around on those little dinky roads in a cemetery? Well, let me tell you something.
But I clearly said take a right. Take a right, take a
doesn't-
right.
Do you have the stick?
She
Do
has
you
a
see
stick.
I have the stick?
She has a stick and it's
Do
a
you have the stick? You either.
I'm just going to go in the other room and let them have fun with my channel. Whatever they do, I'm not responsible for. I'm just here for the, the over there. There is no beer.
I gave up trying to turn my van around. So I ended up backing up throughout the cemetery. Do you know how hard it is to back a van up through those little roads?
We're
And
going
the
to share the stick. And I had to walk a half a mile to meet you because you were like, I give up. Just find me. And I was picking up rocks as we went along so we could paint them and we could do little, inspirational, those rocks. You do hope and love and you leave them around everywhere. I have a whole pocket full of rocks.
You know what? I don't want the stick anymore.
Yeah, keep it.
I don't want it.
Keep it.
I don't want it. Take the
Okay.
stick.
Don't give it to Draco. Jesus.
Back on topic.
Anybody in chat want the stick? Just holler.
Obviously, it's not doing us any good.
I have the stick.
Oh, God.
You're smoking. Give the stick to someone else. She's going to smoke too.
Oh. No wonder I can't find it. You
Okay,
got
let's
it.
go back to chat. We'll
Oh,
let
God.
chat just run the room because we don't know what we're doing.
So
Draco needs the
basically,
stick.
what we were
Louder.
talking about going over today is, like I
Oh,
said
Lord.
before, the difference between a ghost and a spirit, which is, in the most simplest terms, a spirit
Smoke
has
the
crossed
stick.
over.
Oh, shame. Are
And
you?
That's so cool.
Oh, I want to go to Bobby Mackey's with you, honey.
I love the
Oh,
stick.
that
Smoke
would be
the stick.
awesome.
Shame. Yes.
What's
Smoke
Bobby
the stick.
Mackey's?
Huh?
What is that?
Bobby Mackey's? Johanna?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the only thing I had to say.
So,
I am not good with names.
simplest terms, a human spirit is one that has crossed over and can do what's called bilocation when they come over here, which means that they can be essentially
Oops.
in two places at once.
I don't know what that was
so
all
you can
about.
have a spirit with you.
No, you can keep going.
And then, like, for example, if you're on somebody's live and they're doing a spirit box
There we
session,
go.
they can come through and speak through that spirit box. They can send their presence to two different places. A ghost is stuck where they are for whatever reason. It could be property. It could be
Oh, you're being a princess?
it could be for a particular item. They're distracting me. It could be a person. It could be for a situation that traps them. Like residual hauntings are like this. A spirit that's pretty much, a ghost that's pretty much fallen into just an energy state and they repeat something over and over and over again. I have the stick. Give me a minute. Let me finish my brain crumb. And they repeat something over and over and over again throughout time because that is where they're stuck. So that's the basic breakdown. William, Ouija boards are evil.
Okay, give me
At
the
least
stick.
in my personal opinion. They're evil. They open doors and you can't close them. Mom has the stick, turning it over to her.
What do you think about a Ouija board? Okay, my personal opinion about a Ouija board is, like anything, I don't think a Ouija board in itself is evil. It's a piece of wood, people. It's a plastic thing with a pointer. It's how
Planchette.
it's how it's used. It's your intention. It's no different than
We didn't have the stick. Planchette.
It's
What?
called a planchette.
It's a planchette.
okay.
It's not a pointy stick.
It's a plastic thing with a little whatever. So anyhow, for me, I've had some positive experiences with the Ouija board. I've also witnessed
Are you having a hot
some very negative experiences with the Ouija
You
board.
too?
I think the common denominator is the person using it, the method in which you protect
The
yourself.
cold air from
A
that.
Ouija board can be used as a tool that can bring forth everybody and anything. You're like standing out there with a sign that says, "Here I am, I'm a moving target," or not moving target. It's no different than if you scry, if you
Rudy wants the stick.
if you use any other tools, runes, tarot, not so much tarot, but it's your intention, it's your protection. I think a Ouija board has the potential to bring forth things that much easier than other tools.
I have the stick.
Debbie's had some experiences.
I have had good results with the Ouija board and also very, very bad ones. You want the stick, Rudy? Gotta do your nails, honey? No, I've had really bad... I had one really bad experience with it where I actually had to call in help. We had to actually clean the apartment. We had to clean everything. And that was the night I had woke up with hand marks around my throat. It all depends. It's just another highway, let's say, to the other side. Whether it be, like Willow said, you gotta respect the tools that you use. You can't just pick up something like a spirit box and say, okay, I'm gonna start calling spirits now. It doesn't work that way. You have to respect it. You have to know what you're doing. You need to protect yourself. Because just as you can bring through good, you can also bring through negative as well. Hey, Boston Jay, how are you, my friend? Long time no see. How you feeling?
Spirit will not, in the research that I've done, and for me personally, the belief system that I have, and again, disclaimer,
Yes, Tammy, exactly.
speaking for myself, we want to promote everyone having their own opinion and their own truth, but speaking for me,
Great, Boston Jay.
I don't believe that with correct measures taken, your protection, however you protect yourself, with your prayer, with your drawing down your light, whatever it is you do to protect yourself, good intention, positivity, all of those things, my belief system and my research and the truth that I follow is that there is not a spirit that will come forth with the intention of hurting you. Spirit is not able to cause harm. They've transcended. And for me, the other side is a place of perfection and a place of eternity and
Mine
love
wasn't a
and
spirit
positive.
that hurt me.
Right. So if you're dealing with spirit,
Mine was actually...
in whatever way you connect or whatever way what that means and represents to you, the other side, however you associate with that, there's not a energy or a source of that pure love and light that is going to hurt you. That being said, we can't prove beyond a shadow of a doubt on this side what other things can come forth. It's for everyone to determine what your experiences have brought to your life with whatever tools you've used, whatever methods you use. You know, it's an ongoing discussion. People have debated these topics since we've had human consciousness, of whether there are, you know, those negative entities, what they are, what their intention is. But in dealing with spirit, I believe that there's the intention that spirit has is to give messages of love and peace, and to help us grieve, to help us find our own personal path, to help us feel comfortable and communicate with those that we love, that we miss, in that whatever way they can, you know, to help us while we're here from where they are. It's like a long distance phone call for me. I've had experiences with situations where I was like, that's not spirit. Didn't always know what I was dealing with, but I knew that if I focused on my protection and focused on the spirits that were with me out of love and light, that I would be protected, and that nothing would be allowed to hurt me. If someone experiences something like Debbie, where she physically had a manifestation left marks on her, regardless of what it was or what its intention was. Sometimes it can be an unintentional thing from spirit, where their energy is so strong, spirit can touch you and you may wake up with a red mark that doesn't hurt. It's just an indication that spirit touched you. It doesn't mean it was an attack.
Mine was an attack.
But if you feel you were attacked, the first thing you need to consider and really work on is not focusing on what attacked you, but what you did to let that come in, to let that happen, to not protect yourself. Call on your spirit guides, call on your protection, whatever it is for you.
Sage,
and
salt.
Your tools to protect you, and to demand, and you have the right to demand that you not be harmed, because spirit doesn't want to harm you. And for me, my higher power allows me to send out my expectations. My expectation is that I will always be protected, that I will never be harmed. And knock on wood, I never have been, because I do the work to ensure that I'm not. And when you get complacent is when things get a little confusing, because if you're not using the positivity and the light and the knowledge is power. We discussed that earlier. If you're not using knowledge, that weakens you. You need to be informed. You need to find your own truth. You need to find and really be convicted with your beliefs and your limits. Know your limits. Know your strengths. If you don't know something, research. When something makes sense to you, I mean, I researched for 10 years before I found that aha moment where I was like, wow, that's what makes sense to me. I spent most of my young life thinking that everyone experienced what I experienced.
Hey Hazel, how are you?
Hey Hazel.
Welcome to the room.
I thought that every person living and every person I knew or experienced what I experienced. I didn't have many people to tell me that it was different. Everyone has the ability to live with spirit on this side, to live with those that visit from the other side. It's whether or not you tap into it, whether you nurture it. And the only way you can nurture your gift or to develop what we've already been given. I mean, if you believe if you believe the other side is your home originally and you're going to go back, you came here with it. So you may not remember it. You may not remember past lives. You may not remember your gifts you had on the other side or your strengths, but you come here with them. That's why kids are so good at saying the things that freak us out and acknowledging the things that we're like, wow, you know.
Same with animals.
Same with animals. They don't live here very long and they go back, you know. So you come here with those gifts, with that knowledge. While we're here, there's all this other stuff that interferes with the knowledge. You know, all the other stuff that we focus on in the forefront. And it's not a bad thing. It's just we're inundated with cultural differences, religious differences. Geographically, we all live different lives. If you get rid of all of that and you just look at the core, which is your mind, body, and soul, you have the knowledge. You just have to remember it. You have to nurture it. You have to pull it out to your conscious memory. And we all have it. It can take a lifetime. I am one of those people that I've not had to work hard at it because I stumble through it. I've had experiences where I had a mentor for many, many, many years, and I frustrated her to the point where she all but disappeared and left me to my own devices because she, I think, got frustrated with just saying to me, every time I shared something that I was struggling with, she said, do the work. I've had experiences.
Was that before or after Dad terrified her?
No, it just... I've had experiences where at her most frustrated with me, she said, you just experienced something that people have, that she knew, and she was in a very huge community and very respected. And she said, Robin, you experienced something that people wait their entire lives to experience. They study for it, they nurture it, they work at it, and you just call me up and go, I wonder what that was. And she's like, you don't do the work. For me, it was kind of terrifying to do the work because I'm not very good at boundaries with it or controlling it. Like, I think there's a part of me that's afraid of the immensity of the other side and what it could... It's such a huge conflict with my mortal life that I take baby steps, and I've taken baby steps my whole life. And so this community has really helped me kind of throw, not caution to the wind, but just acknowledge that I have to really make a decision on, I'm either all in or I'm all out. And for me, that's my choice. For some, some people are much better at balancing, and they don't have to be all in. But we've discussed this a lot, whether or not I'm strong enough, flesh and blood, to handle being all in.
You are.
Maybe when I retire from my profession, it'll be a little easier.
See, she says she's not all in.
She's all in.
She's all in.
I mean, I've been all in.
I've grown up with this stuff.
I've been all in to an extent, but I suppress a lot.
Can I?
I'm kind of toes in the water.
She's all in. Don't let her kid you. And guys, I'm subbing as I go.
Yes, sub and like everyone. Support each other. Sub to each other's channels. I can't read. I'm going to read comments. Excuse the top of my head.
When I was growing up, like, my first memory of these two interacting, like, I've known Auntie my whole life and everything. My first memory of these two interacting was us at her old house, and they were making candles and saying prayers over them and everything like that, and they were using them for meditation practice and all that stuff. That is what I remember. I've grown up with this stuff, and there was never an option for me to be either in or out. I was always in and just had to balance it. Yeah. That was just my reality. And Mom and Dad, they were phenomenal at helping me because they were both extremely gifted. Dad helped Mom a lot with learning about her abilities, and through both of them, as they learned, and Auntie, they helped me learn what I could do, how to keep myself safe. I mean, I had my first book on spiritualism when I was 8
Mr.
years
Dave,
old.
how are you?
And
Glad you could make it, hon.
it was a children's book, yes, but it covered everything from how to safely do astral projection to the different spirits that could be there, and they encouraged me to learn about it. And you
Most
know,
definitely, Shane.
it. So for me, I've never been in or
Sit
out.
that
It's
down.
always just been a thing,
I can
that
also
is
see
a
them
part
in
of my
light
life.
Shapes, hazel.
and
Hey, Mr.
I had
Dave.
a brain crumb. We were talking about Ouija boards and tarot and everything. And then stick will go right to you, I promise. I won't let anyone else take the stick, no matter what their brain crumb is.
I have paper.
Yeah, she'll just do cue cards.
The first time I ever did tarot, I was 7 years old. Dad had gotten me a book on how to use regular playing cards as tarot cards, because I wasn't trusted with a regular deck yet. And then I got a regular deck when I was 10. And I've never touched a Ouija board. For some reason, they've always given me the heebie-jeebies. I just personally feel that even though, if it's just sitting there, it's a piece of wood. But once you touch it, you imbue it with power. That's my own. And I can't guarantee that I'll be able to send
To shut it down.
out whatever comes in.
Right.
Or that I won't open something that I shouldn't.
Right.
And with tarot, I don't have that issue. I don't know how, because I haven't been able to find written resources on how to do it the way I do it. There are written resources out there, but for me, it's almost like an innate thing. And Dad actually helped me with that when I first did it, because that was how I first was in contact with my guide, Vicky. And Vicky's been with me for forever and a day.
Literally.
Yeah, Mom remembers me talking about Vicky, 4 years old, walking out. Vicky told me something in my dream last night. Who the heck is Vicky? Is Vicky like Frankenfurter, your imaginary friend's little brother or something? No, Vicky's a guy with red hair who just kind of follows me around and tells me, "You see that guy there? Yeah, he's a spirit. He's a ghost. He's whatever." You know? And Vicky was just always there. And I found that I could use tarot as a way to communicate with Vicky and with other spirits. But I've never found a written resource on how to do it the way that I do it. It's just innate. And so, I mean, I guess to kind of wrap up on my brain crumb, everything is a tool. And if you know how to use it, if you're comfortable using it, then use it. But if you're not, then don't let somebody force you into it. Like I had so many times when I was a kid, people were like, "Oh, I found this old Ouija board in the basement. Let's play with it." And I've called Mom and said, "Pick me up. They're pulling out a Ouija board."
Yeah.
Okay, we have a question. Is doing scrying sessions good or bad?
Oh, I love scrying.
Scrying is
I think
amazing.
it's great.
I have to say,
Scrying.
did you have something that you didn't want to lose?
Oh,
before
yeah,
we-
go ahead.
The brain
Before-
crumb.
We'll
I did
touch
we'll
back
get right back
on
to
the
that.
right back on
scrying.
that.
My first encounter with the other side was in 9th grade. And it was in German class, 9th grade German class, and I was sitting in the front, and my whole row and the row next to me was completely empty, and all of a sudden I felt someone tap me on the shoulder. Turn around, nobody's there, and being in 9th grade and not having anybody who knew much about that, I didn't really think anything of it.
We'll get to the orbs also in a second.
Yeah, Debbie's writing a list.
And that was the problem with me, is I knew I was connecting to something that wasn't on the same plane, but I had no one around me to verify it, to say that I wasn't going crazy. And so growing up,
I was lucky on that front.
growing up, it was very hard for me to talk to people about it.
Because
Even
then
though
they just think you were crazy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you
So-
go through that even when you have a
So-
network. Because there were times when things happened to me and I couldn't verify them to
Right.
you, mom or dad, and I'm like,
Right.
did this really happen? Am I going nuts? I know I experienced
Well,
this.
you know,
Right.
that's my go-to place every time I experience something, especially in most recent years because of my life path and direction it's taken. That's my biggest. Would you say that is my biggest challenge?
Yes.
Is we're back to the is it real or is it Memorex? I have brought my world much smaller in my who I share with. Sometimes I'm compelled to share, like I have to call that person up and go,
Right.
who's who? And you take a
Right.
risk that person you're calling is going to go, I can't be your friend anymore. Well,
Right.
you know what? If Spirit doesn't want me to have people in my life, they're going to make it clear to me. If they want me to have people in my life, they make that clear too.
You know,
I have to
We have a
to
very
some degree
small network of
here,
people that
yes, in our real
basically
life.
it's right here.
Yeah.
Can I add one
Wait a
thing
second.
and then we'll get to the
And
scrying and
so-
orbs?
Wait a second. So, for me, I take that personal risk to my call it ego, call it to my mental psyche, whatever, every day, and then I just have to go have a conversation with Spirit, and they just reassure me it's okay for people to doubt you here. Because we're gonna know when we get home. We're gonna know the truth, and
Right.
I'd
Very
rather
true,
be
Hazel.
I'd
Very
rather
true.
be honest to my truth while I live on Earth, so that I can carry that truth back with me to the other side as my lessons learned. If any of us, in my opinion, do not carry your truth with you, you're
Right.
not learning the lessons that you charted for yourself. Like, to thine own self be true. If that's the only
Exactly.
thing we can do on this earth, is to be true to ourselves and to love one another as we love ourselves.
Hazel, I have the same gift
You
as
know,
you, premonition.
Yeah.
So
I have the gift of premonition.
I was gonna
It's
say
a biological thing, I
was
swear.
gonna
It
say
is.
something before we get to the scrying. I had a comment. I was gonna say thank you first of all for sharing. Secondly, oh, the little man is running around looking for that post-it note. Hold on, don't let me lose it. I think what I was gonna say was, when Miss Adventure Girl said she didn't know. I think you recognize things for yourself.
Agreed, Hazel.
When you know
We all are.
something, you have that aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have to keep it to yourself for a while to be okay with it, then do that.
Like I said, I
You
knew
know?
that I was connecting with a world on another plane. I just
Oh, I got it back.
Anyway.
Thank you. I got it back.
You're
Okay.
very welcome.
So this is something that I put out there to a lot of people, just because
No,
I think it's
I'm not talking to you right
I think
now.
it's kind of a universal question. Regardless of your religion, and we've discussed that religion often separates people and divides people, and spirituality brings us together, which I feel is really the simplest way.
And basically,
To describe
our
it.
religion, what we believe in, we're each individuals. We each have a
And it's-
little different outlook,
In this room
but
right
yet we're
now,
kind of the same.
Well, we don't need to.
We
We're
have-
not gonna,
So-
throw it out there. But because it doesn't matter what your religion is or what any kind of
Bye, shame. Peace,
category
much love to you,
you
hun.
put
Thanks for
yourself-
coming.
Hi, hun.
We don't need to be separated into categories. I
Yes,
guess
Tammy, it is.
my thought was, if there's the one thing I ask myself all the time is,
Yeah, those
for
two are
those that
definitely different.
say my higher power is God, and it doesn't matter who. I'm not promoting anything. I'm just saying.
Exactly, Hazel. Then they'll just look at you and think you're woo-woo.
Right, for generic conversation here, just for conversation purposes. This I'd like people
trying
to
to get
wonder about
comfortable.
this.
It's
Oh yeah,
Totally.
that's
Do you
uncomfortable.
hear?
That
Take
chair
a,
is
take
an
a, take a.
Oh, yeah.
it's a butt pillar. I'll switch with you, honey.
Take a
I'll
pillow.
switch with you.
–
This one's more comfy.
The majority of people are taught.
Musical chairs. Hold on a second,
Yeah.
guys.
The majority of people are taught that you should connect with some form of higher power, and it's given a name, or a dogma, or whatever. That's fine, but this is what I ask myself a lot, and nobody seems to have a clear answer. if you are raised in any belief system in which you talk to a higher power, you're considered to be part of a religion, part of a community. It's respectful to talk to your higher power,
Right.
to request what you need. What happens, and you tell the world, I mean, you know, there's every religion out there that says, spread the word. I talk to my higher power. What happens when your higher power talks back to you?
Right?
And you say, I just had a conversation, not only with my higher power, but everybody that's there with my higher power. And then people look at you and go, there's a line
It's like,
drawn.
sure you did.
That brings me back to my brain
There's
crumb.
a line drawn in the sand as to what is comfortable. Everyone has a different comfort zone. So until you hit your comfort zone, it's very hard to share with other people here on this earth, because I not only talk to my higher power, but I talk to everybody or whoever's willing to talk to me that's hanging out with them, like hanging out with my spirit guide, my God, my angels, my whoever. And when I share that with people, they're like, yeah, you just crossed that line of acceptability. Like, and not always. I mean, I surround myself with like-minded people, which is a very small group.
But sometimes it sounds like you crossed the line of crazy.
Right.
If you're talking to
reality.
a
And everyone needs to have their
non-believer.
own reality. Your own reality is to be true to you.
So I'm going to try to explain
Hazel,
this.
William, I'm so glad you guys are having fun here. We are too.
All right, let's go to...
It's something that we've been
just- I wanna
discussing for
get-
quite a
discuss
while.
I know, but I want to get my brain crumb out before I lose
You
it.
just had one.
No, I've been waiting on the brain crumb thing
Hurry
for
up.
like 20 minutes
Crumb.
while you've been talking.
Crumb, baby, crumb.
10 seconds.
So I'm going to try to explain this as best I can without invading anyone's privacy on this.
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh.
After
Tuck and roll.
my
Tuck
dad
and roll.
passed away, I did have a crisis of faith. And I was
We all
with
did.
Mom for the 3 weeks after it happened because he passed very unexpectedly. And I was living with her, and I saw her not only have a crisis of faith, but then get her faith back, and everything that went with that, all of the communication that went with that, and I didn't know what to do. And so
You called Debbie
I called
and
Auntie,
the army of people.
and then my brother showed up, and of course my brother, he's very he's spiritual in his own way, but he has a lot of mental blocks. So where I had been living with Mom for 3 weeks and going and regaining my faith through what she was going through, because I'm like, oh wow, that actually, you know, and living with her with it, even though I wasn't experiencing it directly, you know, seeing her go through that and everything reaffirmed my faith. But then my brother showed up, and he calls up the two people he calls up the two people, family members from Massachusetts, that while they are open-minded, that line for them is very, very,
Very
very,
thin.
very
It's
strong.
a chasm. It's not a line. It's a canyon.
It's a chasm.
That had to
And
be crossed.
They came up
Yeah.
and they tried to help. I mean, they drove the 3.5
They tried.
the 3.5 hours to get here,
It was
and they
too
tried
much
to
for
help.
It was.
And it was just too
It
much for them
was.
to experience. And so I ended up having to call him back up. I couldn't get her here, so I called another aunt who has also gone through everything like this with Mom. And she came up and she was able to explain to them what Mom was going through.
I was going through
what
my
I had
own
been
grief,
going
too.
through, you know, and everything like that. And to this day, they still have that whole cognitive dissonance thing. They're with one of those people, the chasm has closed slightly. With the other person, it's like
Not so
they
much.
build a bridge and then they immediately break down the foundation. They try.
The chasm
but
has
not
gotten
quite.
a little wider.
And it didn't really hit home with me. I didn't have my own experience with it until about 6 months later. And it was just out of the blue, random. My soon-to-be husband had gone to work. I was at our house alone, and I heard something in the kitchen, and I turned around, and there was had been dead for almost 7 months father with his and my dog. It was our dog. Bjorn, who had died when I was like 11, standing there, and I heard clear as day, I'm proud of you. You've done good this time. Because I had just gotten with Jamie maybe a year before.
But you were struggling with exams. You were at the brink of, I can't do this anymore.
I thought I was going to have a mental breakdown, and then that happened, and I called Mom. I was losing my mind, crying hysterically, and then as soon as I heard her voice, and she's like, that's what I went through for 3 weeks, it just instantly, every single negative emotion just went right out of me, and I'm like, thank you, Dad, that's exactly what I needed, and I passed all my exams with flying colors.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's stuff like that. You don't know who you can talk about. To this day, outside of this situation where I've discussed it, the only ones that knew about that were Jamie, Mom, and Auntie. That's it.
Yeah.
And that was a very significant experience for me because I hadn't seen a full body spirit in years. I think since I was 15 and Grandpa had shown up 2 weeks before Gran passed away. That one freaking threw me for a rip. Handing the stick back. I gotta pee.
All right. You address
We can address
scrying.
scrying
so
and or
freaking hard.
we can all address
Well, I'll
scrying.
give you the stick because
I think scrying is a wonderful thing.
I don't do
I've
moon
never
scrying, but I do
experienced this, so
tarot
don't
and
know.
water scrying, so I'll cover that when they're done.
Oh,
so
okay.
Thick. Nope. Light. Where? Oh, there it is. I got it.
so we were asked about scrying. Who asked? Are you still in the room?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it was Hazel.
I love elemental work. Like,
Would you like the stick?
no, because we'll share. We're good. We don't. We'll
No, we're
behave.
over it now.
We do a lot of elemental work.
We
Bring
do.
it down to the basics.
Yep.
From,
Oh, something fuzzy's on my leg.
Probably the cat.
It's the cat.
oh, jeez. For me, if you can bring it down to the most purest form, if you can work with fire, water, sit on a beach, sit in the dirt, gardening. I mean, some of my greatest insight has come to me playing in the dirt.
Yeah.
I got involved in gem hunting just because it was a socially accepted way to go sit in the dirt and be with spirit while I'm
Yep.
digging up.
Because
you know.
it's natural. It's a natural
Yeah.
resource.
Nellie's
I mean,
not.
this
It's
it's stripped down to pure form.
yeah.
It's elemental.
It's energy.
Earth,
It's pure
it's
to me
energy.
it's pure energy.
So if I feel my most heightened and calm and charged and peaceful sitting in the dirt at some mountain in Maine digging up amethyst and it can be the smallest little rock
Yep.
and I'm like, oh,
The smallest little
I may be the first
nibble
human
it.
being to ever touch this gem and
Yep.
Earth just gave it to me. The ocean, when we
We're
have
very
a-
much into the elements.
Sand dollar hunting when I was 4 years old with this
yeah.
one.
So
We're very much into
we
the
haven't done a
elements.
lot of that scrying recently. We just talked about it a
we
few
did.
weeks
We just
ago.
talked about it. Actually, I think it was last week
Yeah.
in an offline conversation we had.
Scrying, when you
I'm gonna have
mirrors,
to pee before I sit down.
using flame, candles, any of that,
We
a
do
lot of people
flame
associate
and-
that with, other misunderstood, what would you say, dogmas,
Hi,
other
Flutter
misunderstood
Thank you
ways
for
of living.
coming.
But I don't care if you're, Jewish, Christian, pagan, wicked,
Wow,
whatever. It
William.
doesn't matter. When you,
Oh gosh.
You know
connect-
exactly what I'm talking about.
when you connect with something as pure as a bowl of water and you meditate.
Flutterdo, sub up to everybody. Everybody sub up to Flutterdo. Give us the thumbs up, please.
It all promotes meditation.
Mm-hmm.
It promotes that inner peace and that inner quiet where you can hear and listen to not only yourself but those that are still where you came from. For me, I can sit here and have a conversation with Debbie and it's very tangible, it's very real, but we can go sit on a rock somewhere and have a conversation with everyone we've ever loved or ever from the beginning of our time, and we're like still amazed that, and we don't know always who we're hearing or who we're feeling.
Right.
I don't know how many times I've, been here to travel on this rock around the sun. I don't know. Something I haven't really looked into, but it still amazes
I just
me
subbed to you, hon.
that there's an endless amount
I'm subbed.
of people who have lived before us, lived here with us, and will maybe come into our lives that we don't yet know, that can communicate with us. And again, with any tool, if you do water scrying, research it, protect yourself, make sure that it's something that you're comfortable with, and that I always recommend,
I suggest doing your research first.
Work with a friend, work with someone you trust, find a mentor, find someone who can really feed and nurture your own journey.
Right.
These things are never easy to go alone.
Right. I remember back in the day when we first started to meditate.
Oh, Jesus! Is this
I
the
was
swing
involved
set?
in that.
No, you weren't. No, this was
like,
before you were
this
born.
is before you
I know,
were
but
born.
like later on, they made
No.
sure I meditated.
But
This was years before.
Really,
Okay.
this
Before
is
you were
definitely-
before you were a thought in Daddy's eye.
Oh, this was crazy.
Before I was a stain in Daddy's pants.
Oh, stop.
Her husband and Willow,
Your best friend.
my best, her husband and I we met at 14, and they were at my house, and we all decided, okay, we're gonna meditate. We got everything set up and everything. This one could not get out of her head. All right, while her husband and I, we managed to get up, get out, and we.
I'm
left.
still hearing the clock ticking on the wall.
Elvis left the building.
Oh.
Okay? And when you fly, you never fly alone. Unless you're well versed in it. And I could see her. I can remember this to this day.
God.
At the play
They
yard.
were laughing at me. Look
Looking
at her.
at
She's
her.
still listening to the clock. She's just not getting it.
Looking at her through the window. And it's like, oh my God, she's just not getting this. It's like, where are you? You got this. Come on.
And I'm going, the clock.
She could not get out of her head to save her own soul. And she just sat there.
I just sat there. I'm like,
Sat there.
So not only did they do their thing, my husband was very gifted and just, he was an amazing person. So anyways,
Hazel, I'll address that with you in a second about the guardian angel, and I still need to address the orbs.
They left together because they traveled as a pack.
Her husband and I have traveled before.
For many years.
Willow even came into the picture.
We
had been practicing this before either of us even
knew
her.
each other. Went to the schoolyard in the middle. We're in the middle of the country. There's like her house, 3 other houses, and a school, like up around the corner. And you could go through her back field into the playground of the school. There was no fence. It was just swing set. And they were swinging on the swings, laughing at me.
We were.
And so I got up and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I don't want to disturb them. I go sit in the other room and a few minutes go by and whoever it was decided they were going to come back to the house. And so one by one, they were like, so how'd it go? And I'm like, I got up and went pee. I kind of sat here and stared at the wall. I'm like, I don't get it. They're like, yeah, we know. And like, what really made me a believer was that this one said, what, you couldn't make me a cup of coffee too? I had already drank the coffee and had put the cup in the sink before they returned. And I'm like, how do you know I made a cup of coffee? I've been sitting here watching you, your eyes closed. She had her eyes closed for like 40 minutes. She's like, well, we were over there laughing at. I'm like, sure you, yep. They were over there laughing at me, swinging on the swings. and never let me forget that if I didn't get on board, they were going to just go play without me.
Yeah.
And they did. And so they...
Yeah, Hazel, the bell is a good one.
Oh, bells.
It helps slow down the spirits.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It distracts them. It will keep them from whizzing around so
Wind
much.
chimes. I never
Wind
have a
chimes
place where I
also.
live without a wind
Bells?
chime.
Wind chimes. I can't do wind chimes in here. My neighbors will complain.
Bells
Because I live in an apartment.
are... And you can get different bells. It's like when you buy a
Different-
wind chime, it can resonate with you. We've done chime work.
Yep.
We've done sound work. Om, the purest sound. Different tones.
Yep.
The Chinese, they use gongs in meditation.
Right.
Different churches use
Which
bells.
I do have a gong as well.
My
Mom had her
most,
little tabletop wind chime thing.
my
Yep.
most favorite in the last couple of years is my singing bowl. Oh, I had to bring the first one back because
Yep.
it made my nose bleed.
Yep.
Was not
It made her dog cry.
was not the correct tone for me.
No, it was not.
Don't rush your purchase when you go into a shop. Don't buy the bowl because it's pretty.
Yeah.
Try it out. Sit with it. Any reputable shop owner will let you sit and sing.
and-
sit with your bowl.
And let it sing.
Let her do.
So those sounds are pure, like water and fire. Those sounds are noticed by spirit, and they get their attention. And so if you find a bell or a chime or a singing bowl, it will either
Flutter
draw.
we'll get to your wind chime question in a second, hon.
They
I have
can
an orb
either-
question ahead of you.
They can either be drawn to you, or you can use that in part of your prayer or meditation, that when you sound your bell, that's your exit. Ding, you guys need to go.
Yep.
If you're not, and you can make that clear as part of the beginning of your work or the
And also
end.
be careful with mirrors.
You can say, when you hear this bell, I may not be able to verbalize what I want, but when you hear this bell, if I'm not, because sometimes you don't get your thoughts back clearly, and you're kind of like, oh my God, I'm tired, or I got to eat. That is their signal that you want them to leave.
Disperse.
Or you can use it as a tool to call them forward.
Right.
It's a pure sound. Find the one that you can relate to.
Right.
Okay, Debbie, what was it
Orbs.
you said? Orbs.
We gotta address orbs.
Who wants to take point on this one?
Well, let Debbie, because
No, you can take the... Because you were the one that had the experience with the blue orb.
A blue orb.
Yes.
So,
I've got a green
highest.
one, a red one, and a purple one.
hold on. Okay, so I don't know a lot. I know a little bit of a lot. I don't know a lot about any one thing, I'll be honest. I don't know a lot about a lot of things. But I know just enough of a little bit of
We're jack of all
what
trades,
I've
master of
experienced,
none.
just enough to get in trouble, or just enough to go, I gotta look into that more, or I don't want that to happen again, and I walk away from it until she
did you
makes
see?
me do
Thought I
more
saw
work.
somebody's head we saw a few freaking days ago.
Oftentimes,
Where?
in my experience, orbs
In the
can be
doorway.
related to the chakra
Oh,
colors,
goody.
and everything, irregardless of your belief
I
system.
thought I saw the freaking face again.
That one?
I like to think that we're all right in some way, that every belief system or every
the one that
experience
likes to
can
keep
bring
popping up
you
behind
your
Mom's head?
truth, for you to determine how to put the pieces together for yourself.
Picture of it?
I don't believe any one
it's in the
system
chat.
that's been...
This is back.
Snapshot it.
This is back, like maybe right back. Yeah, this is back at the
I
beginning.
don't know what they're doing.
And every-
Snapshot it.
Every time it's really faint and like really quick, I'd have to go in. Every time my phone flickers, the face shows up behind Mom's head.
I don't
I saw it
believe
on my
that
phone. It didn't
anyone
flicker, but
2 or 3 streams ago.
thing is
I
right or
had-
wrong.
and
It's,
this is not
we
like
don't
50
know.
orbs.
We just
Like
have to
50.
compile
I
our
had 9
experiences
spirits,
for
and I had a
ourselves.
friggin- and I had a
I find
face in my
orbs
drawer.
are
I've
very
seen them a couple of
connected to
times,
the
'cause
chakra
I keep
colors, and
watching
I can,
that.
and I've also talked
see,
to
it shook
our
again,
mentor that we
and-
had for many years in our research, and that orbs have a level of, what would you call it? Not power, but a level of spiritual, like a hierarchy.
Yeah.
Orbs can be spirits visiting. Orbs can be pure energy sent from your higher power.
White orbs are iridescent white, like a misty orb. That's like a low level orb.
Okay.
That's the lowest level you can get. You see,
Yeah.
you get those majority a lot of time. I get them here.
That's spirit.
I get them a lot. That's
Traveling,
spirit.
visiting.
If you go to a cemetery,
They're translucent.
boatload.
almost.
Yeah,
Right.
they're almost translucent.
Well, yeah.
They're almost like a circle of
I don't know
white
why people
mist.
are so surprised to see
Or,
orbs in a cemetery. It's a
right.
cemetery.
Exactly.
Imagine the billions of
I'd be
souls.
surprised not
Yep.
to see
Hazel,
any.
It's
Those
like dust
are-
mites.
The white orbs, it's spirit. It's kind of like a
Can I
Sending
it's
you,
like on a
sending
ladder.
You, yeah, sending
Can I
you
tell
the
the
energy.
story
Not
about
yet.
the-
white
When
orbs
the
are like
lamb saw the
on
orb.
the first on the first level. As they go up,
It's
then
a transcendence.
yes, I couldn't think of
So-
the word. Thank you.
My experience, very quickly, because this isn't about me, but guys, throw your experiences up on chat if you want to share. If you don't, that's fine. But we're going to try to learn how to do that, bringing people into the chat thing. What is it called?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
yeah. We're gonna try to do something different. I just need to get the hang of it. It's through Google Hangouts where you can beam people in, and I can have like myself, Willow, Draco, couple people from the group, and we're all in here together. Excuse me, and whoever speaks, the picture goes to them.
Right.
Right. It's so we're like sharing 5 different chats on one channel.
So for me personally, and before I even had any idea what it was, a lot of stuff I learned because it was brought right to my face. Like, you have to learn what this was, because I love to know, not so much to prove it, but just the curiosity of, I want to know what that was brought to me, because I look at it as it's a blessing, it's a gift. And so I was in a very emotional place in my life regarding my mother-in-law, who was second to my mother as my most loved woman on this earth. And I was in her home.
Yeah, I have a lot of orbs here in my
which
apartment.
had a lot of activity. And I was walking with my sister-in-law. We both had to run upstairs to use the restroom. And it was one of those whoever got there first wins kind of thing. So we went upstairs, and when she walked by the bedroom door, she stopped. And she's very gifted. And I don't even know if I like the word gifted. She's been very blessed with insight and with the gifts being brought to her. I feel like it's not something I have. It's been something I've been given. We all have been given this.
Everybody has, for
You
lack
come
of a
here
better
with
word,
it. You come here with it.
gift.
Yeah, you come here with it.
it's whether or not you want to bring that gift forward and utilize
In
it.
this life. And so when you leave the other side, I mean, you're pure energy, pure everything when you're on the other side. So
Right.
if you're lucky enough to come back to this, or you choose to come back to this world in a very flawed body,
Some things we come back because we didn't learn it or do it right the first time around.
the only thing we have that we should be sure of is that there's a part of us that is perfect. It's not your face, your butt, your feet, your whatever.
Right.
You have a part of you that's perfect, and that's the part that jumped into this body to live with you in this body. It's the real you. And so she was like, looked at me and said, "Oh, you handle this. I gotta pee." And she was like, "Wow, that's interesting." And she went into the bathroom, and I stood in the doorway, and I looked, and hand to God, there was a blue. I can't even describe the color, because to be honest, I've never seen the color or the intensity of it since then. The only word I have to describe it is blue. Like brilliant, pure light. Just the most beautiful blue you've ever seen. And it was a solid color, like not translucent. It was very opaque. and then it kind of blended out into some translucence. And it was floating in the corner of my mother-in-law's bedroom. And she was not in the room, okay? And it floated up and a little bit down, and then I turned to probably say, like, what the blah, 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 blah. And my sister-in-law came out, and she's like, still gotta pee? I'm like, absolutely, more blah, 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 blah. And I said, tell me what goes on when I can. So I went in the bathroom, and I came out, and I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, it's still there. And we looked, and we watched it float up, and then it just went like to the center of the room and exploded into, like, I can't even explain. It's like taking glitter that is illuminated, like a billion points of light, just, and it was faster than a blink. And I was like, had to pee again, and I'm in tears, and my heart's pounding. I thought I was gonna throw up. And we went downstairs.
Blah, 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 all over again.
Oh, it was incredible. We went downstairs, and it was her and I were the only ones in the house. And we just sat there and was like, what do we do with that? So I called my person.
Yes, like fireworks.
And she informed me that blue is Mother Mary. Like the purest form of energy and love that is sent from Mother Mary. And regardless, and she made it perfectly clear to me, regardless of your religious denomination or place where you have yourself, there are masters that have ascended through time. And you don't have to be an active participant in that religion or in that belief system. It doesn't mean that they don't exist. It doesn't mean that they don't have a message or that they are not an ascended person. You know, Buddha and, you know, all the names that people read in the Bible, and, you know, throw some out.
Can I...
You know, Mother Teresa even, I believe, has become an ascended spirit because she did great work on on Earth.
I agree.
So the ascended masters,
Ezekiel was one of the prophets in the Bible.
you know, anyone that is of a higher level, transcended, and Mother Mary being one of them, her color is blue, and it's been found, documented in many sources, not just Christian belief, but many, many, many sources of the meaningfulness of blue, Mother Earth, you know, the whole Godhead thing, feminine, masculine, the whole thing. Blue is significant. My mother-in-law, the most powerful thing she said to me was, how can I be so sick with something so horrible and not feel sick? My mother-in-law had one day of pain in her life, in her dying life, before she passed. She had one day, and it was within 48 hours of her passing. She had a illness that causes most people great pain and grief and discomfort. And I believe that she was spared that because my mother-in-law was the quintessential, wouldn't you say, mom?
Yeah.
Like, had more people calling her mom than she could ever
I even
give birth
called
to.
her mom.
You called her mom. I mean, she was, and my mother was too. So if you know someone that's lived their life here as that quintessential mother figure, like, is just that mom person to anyone that needs her, don't be surprised if you ever see blue around them. That's my only experience.
Draco's gonna hit on the wind chimes.
With an orb.
I need to hit one thing on the orbs though, real quick, because it's not the first time that blue orb has been seen in Graham's old house. I have seen it multiple times. The first time I saw it was actually when I saw the red eyes. Alright, so a little bit of backstory
Well,
on
don't
this.
get into that tonight.
Well,
Because I don't want people to be frightened by something that is
no,
not a
'cause
frightening thing.
it's a positive. It is a positive story. It frightened me as a child, but it is a very positive story. And the blue orb actually appeared after my grandfather passed away. So knowing my dad and with my beliefs and everything, to me, and Graham and I had talked about this. I personally believe that
No fireworks.
Mama.
No.
I personally believe that what the blue orb was
Oh, Hazel,
a
that's amazing.
manifestation of all of the love that Grandpa had for us. Because
Yeah, it could be.
with how powerful Dad was, I would not be surprised if Grandpa was just as powerful. And Grandpa passed away when I was 7. I think like a year and a half later or something, I was 8. We were spending the night there. And I ended up staying in what used to be my Uncle Dave and my dad's
Exactly,
old
Hazel.
room. And yeah, just to speed it up, red eyes had been seen in there before. We don't know what it is. It hasn't hurt anybody. It has scared several children through several generations. Charlie's seen it. I saw it when I was a kid. My dad and my uncle have both confirmed that they've seen it.
I don't think that's
And-
the only sighting either.
When that happened to me, I ran downstairs and my grandmother was still up for some reason. And
That's not the only sighting.
when I got down there, she got up to meet me and we were standing right in front of this hallway that leads out to the back door. Now the back door had a window in it and the shade was open. The curtains were open. And we saw red eyes. And then all of a sudden we saw this blue orb come zipping around and right out the door. And it just exploded like fireworks and then red eyes was gone. The same thing happened when Charlie saw it, and I helped him through that one because that happened when Charlie is one of my younger cousins. That happened when
Personal.
I was helping to take care of them. And he came running in my room saying, I saw red eyes, I saw red eyes. And I look out my window, and there it is. And the room that I was staying in was my grandmother's old room. And blue orb came zipping right through the door, right behind Charlie, right out the window, same deal. Exploded like fireworks, and red eyes was gone.
Yeah. We think red eyes is someone who it catches our attention.
Exactly, Hazel.
It's the light drawn to his or her eyes, and
I'm not
whoever it is
really
is
sure
trying
if
to get
it's-
our attention. It's not negative. People assume that when you see red, it's negative. It's not.
Sometimes it is.
It could be, but for our experiences, that home was so very well protected that we know it was not negative. We feel it was someone who was very lost and very.
Well, there was something in that basement
It was
because they
someone.
dug and they shouldn't have.
It was someone who was very lost and very wounded, and often show up because it got our attention.
Right.
But it was never something that presented as evil or malevolent at all. So it's hard to know when you don't want to mistake. You don't want to not be aware of, when you need to, be careful of what you may be seeing. But for the most part, if you've got your protection, you can't prevent things that you don't understand. And if you feel it's evil, do your work.
Yep.
If you feel it's malevolent, do your work.
Because remember,
You
your gut
have
will
a-
never
You've
lead
got
you astray.
you have more
You have a
power
brain
than
pump
anything
before
that
we
is
go on to
malevolent.
She's
Yeah.
my second year of college. It was just a small wooden area between the Husson
12.
University and then
You went
another
to Huston
land.
too?
Yes,
Yes.
Hazel.
So
very
I know where
much
you're
so.
talking
Ghost.
about. Yes.
The-
Oh my God, him.
Yeah.
Okay.
There
well-
was a ghost that was in the forest. I saw him so long ago, so I can't see him clearly now. But I do also remember seeing red eyes in that, and just looking at the red eyes, it wasn't good. It was just pure negative. And it just...
So
I know
just,
what that is,
just-
and that's something
what-
we can talk about
Right.
later.
So just remember that you have that internal power and that positivity and that light. You do your work, and you will always be more powerful than any malevolent anything. That because you have the potential to be more powerful and protected than any malevolent anything can do to harm you. And that's a common belief, I think, in every
You just got to do the work. That's
denomination
all.
of every structured belief system, is that the light and the love will always save you. It will not allow, I think, people that have experienced negative things or harmful things, and I'm not saying you should blame yourself, but it's just you need to build up your personal strengths, your personal power, and acknowledge your gift,
Right.
and build it up and embrace it to prevent that kind of stuff from causing psychic harm, mental grief, emotional trauma, fear.
Right.
Fear can block the positivity in an instant. Fear
Fear is
our
your
own worst
enemy.
enemy. It is.
Exactly.
It really
It
is.
is.
And we're
It truly
human,
is.
and so we have a lot of fears.
We do.
We're not carrying around this basket of perfect knowledge and these. Fear is something that you can't allow. Doesn't mean you shouldn't be cautious. Be cautious. I don't know
Follow
what the
your
word
gut.
is. What's the
Yeah, follow your gut.
yeah?
If something feels dark, like you should not go there unless you have more protection. Or
Then you
should not
probably
go there
shouldn't.
alone. Do not go there.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you've been triple dog dared or, this is my favorite expression with that. When I've gone on a few paranormal hunts with people, and there have been some situations where I'm like, I'm not going in there, and like, I'm going in there, and I'm like, fine.
Have at it.
And I'm running the other way, yelling over my shoulder, fine, I'll get a new Brittany. I'll get a better Brittany. Fuck. Screw this crap. And I'm running. And she's like, don't leave me here. And I'm like,
Bleep
then
that part
follow me.
out.
All right.
All
What
right,
do we got next?
so on to the wind chimes, which I'm taking point on.
Yeah, she's doing wind chimes.
Yeah. So Mom touched really well on the topic of how spirits and ghosts can interact with sound. This is something that both of them can universally do. Hi, kitty. This is why spirit boxes are so successful and why there are so many documented EVPs.
This is a cat.
It's very easy to
is my fat
interact with the wavelength of sound. Spirits and ghosts can be very, even other forms of entities can be very affected by sound, which is why no matter what religion, what culture you look at, there's always an element in sound, either saying something like a prayer, or for one example, in voodoo, they use humming, clapping, snapping their fingers, stomping their feet, anything like that. If you make a sound, spirits
Can we
and
do that
ghosts
yet?
can interact with you.
No, I have to do it from the laptop. I have to log in.
And I personally have never lived somewhere where I did not have at least one wind chime. And here's why. It's not just a spiritual belief thing, because that also plays a part in it, which I'll talk to people in private on that if they want to. You can message me on Facebook. It's the same as my YouTube. But I also believe with all the spirits and ghosts that I have interacted with, and I've seen them interact with me through sound. One example, Mom used to have this little Tagoda type wind chime that she would keep in the house somewhere. It was always there. And my favorite thing to do is when I would walk by, I'd take my finger and go boop-a-doop-a-doop and ring all the bells. And that wasn't a problem for the first month that she had it until they started ringing back at me.
I was like, stop playing with my wind chime.
And I'm like, I didn't. I hit it 5 minutes ago. And she's like, what? And this kept happening. And so
they thought she was like sending that, call out, hey,
come say
come
hi.
say hi. And then
And
she'd
so-
leave the room and I'm walking through going, well, I didn't say hi.
So over time, I changed it so that way when I would hit a wind chime, my thought was always, this is your send to peace. Be peaceful. Be positive. And it was a way to clear the air. Like if I went into
Sound
somewhere,
can clear the air.
when I would go
She loves her.
when I would go somewhere, hi kitty, and there would be a wind chime, but it felt like the air was heavy or negative, I'd hit the wind chime and I'd think peace, cleanse.
I think the Tibetan
And it would
monks do a lot
clear-
with that,
They
don't
do.
they? With the,
Yeah, and that's
With the
actually where I learned how to
gongs,
do it,
they
studying
end-
Buddhist techniques.
I think
This
they
is
end.
what happens when you don't brush her.
I think that's how.
No, that's not why that happened.
These happen just because they lick themselves, but they don't get all the spit out.
No, she can't
Ow,
reach that
ow,
till
ow,
she does
ow,
it with her
ow.
paw to
Nails.
hold up to
Nails.
wash her
Oh, yeah.
belly.
Okay, so
But
what was that?
That was it.
Wind
Okay.
chimes, I've never lived in a place without them. Simply for that reason. Same thing with dream catchers. Dream catchers for me, because I do a lot of dream work, they're a perfect way to clear the area when you sleep. When I do any dream work, I will put my dream catcher away, and when I'm done, I will put that thing right back up. I will not ever sleep in a room that does not have a dream catcher in it, unless I absolutely have to. Or
It's a tool.
sleep in a house that does not have a wind chime or a bell. I love Mom's house because she has a giant wind chime right in the middle of her living room.
Oh, I hang them. And it's funny because a lot
I
of
keep one right outside of my door. My main door, Mom's seen it. She's like, oh, you put the wind chime up. First thing that she noticed. And I'm like, yeah. And then she goes into the house. Oh, your dream catchers are up. I'm like, yeah. And I even found this nice one that Jamie had. Every
I forgot mine at the
place,
house.
every
We'll
place
make
I
one.
have lived, if I'm going to be
That
there
was
for
my
more than
first
12
one.
hours,
the one I
has
made
to have
you?
a wind
No,
chime.
one you made.
One you taught me how to make.
Has to have a wind chime, has to have a dream catcher. I'm weird like
All right,
that.
so I just thought of something fun. So I would love to see people throw in chat. Have you ever purchased something and put it in your house? I don't care if it's Goodwill, Walmart, whatever. Have you ever purchased something and you put it on a shelf or you put it somewhere just so you could see it, just because you thought you liked it, and then later found out that it could be used as a spiritual tool? I'd be curious to see what people say.
So
Share that,
many
because
times.
that can be fun. One clear example, one of my earliest experiences of this was this Debbie had in her home white cows.
Mm-hmm.
They were cow heads.
Oh my God, the cow cookie
wait,
jar.
No. These were white cows, and
I remember the white.
we
the
grew
white
up in the
cookie jar.
country, and they were cow heads, and you would hang your dish towel on them. She had them screwed to, one was screwed to the wall under her cabinet, one was on her cabinet door, or maybe that was what I did with it. I was obsessed with these things. I thought they were the cutest, coolest. They were porcelain cow heads.
On the do not
And she
disturb.
said, oh, these are very
know, but
old,
it's my
and
husband.
I just hang my dishcloths on them. And she had like several of them. And when she moved from that home,
I had them in all sizes.
All
too.
sizes,
little
big to
itty bitty
little.
ones to great big ones.
and so when I moved to Maine with my family, and she years later followed us to Maine for many different reasons, and her current husband came to Maine. And I had said to her when I moved, you need to give me one of these cows. I couldn't find one anywhere. Debbie was the only person I knew that ever had one. And so she gave me one. And I hung it up in my kitchen in the home that we bought. And through reading something somewhere, I called her up one day and I'm like, oh my gosh, do you have any idea what it means to have a white cow? And she's like, because you have a place to hang your hand towels? And I'm like, no, like any white cow. Like you have white cows in your kitchen. And she's like, yeah. Well, as it turns out, through some research that I wasn't looking for, I just stumbled over it. White cows are, in many cultures, significant of prosperity And if
People need to stop
a
calling
lot of people have like the little cow creamers, and you think it's just because cream comes from cows and whatever, and that's probably true. But I've always been drawn to the white cow. Hinduism and different religions have the significance of cows.
They're sacred.
And the white cow, white being a pure color, is supposed to bring prosperity and, you know, the honey, the whole concept of, you know, your home will always have sustenance, your kitchen won't be without food, things like that. And so that was always funny. I have wind chimes. I'm not like a huge like collector or anything, but occasionally I'll come across the wind chime that I like the sound of. And my mother-in-law loved orange, and one day she was at a little craft fair and she bought a wind chime with this little orange butterfly with the wind chimes hanging down. It's little. And I insisted that it had to hang from my ceiling. I don't know why. It's been hung from the ceiling in every house that we've lived in.
It's still hanging
It's
from the
still
ceiling.
hanging in my living room.
Right in the very center, under the light.
When my one of my older brothers passed away a couple years ago for circumstances I won't get into, but the only thing from my brother's personal possessions that was given me, and it was meant as a not as a kindness.
William.
It wasn't meant as a kindness. It was kind of meant as a here's something, shut up and go away. Was a wind chime. And it's a little bird house with a little blue bird in it, and it has chimes. And it took me a long time to get over the
Same
whole...
here, Hazel.
It took me a while to get over the ego thing. I was quite PO'd for a long time about it. Look, the only thing I got was this freaking wind chime. And now it's one of my most treasured things because my brother had it hanging on his porch, and he was a very loving person. And now I have his Bluebird of Happiness hanging in my living room, and it's a wind chime. And let me tell you what, where I hung it was not consciously intentional. I walk into that thing almost daily and swear at it. Do I move it? No, because I just complain that I walked into it, and then I just forget about it until the next time I walk into it.
Right.
But every time I hit it, and it's not in the obvious place where you walk into it, I'm usually trying to get to something else. And I laugh because I'm like, it's a moment where I think of him, and I think, yep, you know, they thought that they were being,
Hey, Ghost Finder.
you know, kind of snarly. And,
Ghost Finder, how are you,
but
hon?
it was quite a gift.
Can I go on a brain crumb real quick?
No, let Debbie have a turn. I want Debbie to share something that she has purchased that
I've
became
purchased a lot.
significant.
All of my little things are significant. I use them all in my work.
I'm trying to think of something that you've like, oh my God, I have to have that. Oh, most recently, that thing that Debbie doesn't like birds.
No, I like birds.
Like, she likes live birds.
I like
she likes them
live birds.
outside. She's not a fan of, like, tchotchke stuff. Like
No, I'm not a fan of tchotchke
For
stuff
s-
because that just means I have to clean it.
Yeah, for someone who hates dusting, I have a lot of little tchotchke
I live in a
stuff.
3-room apartment, people. I don't need tchotchke
So
stuff.
I went to Goodwill and I found these little yellow birds. They're
Oh
like
my God.
sunshine. They're like canary yellow, and they're these little birds with little paisley designs on their wings. And I had to have them. Had to have them. Like, I would have like not eaten for the week if they were expensive. They were $1 a piece. Okay, so then I don't buy anything expensive. She walked in my house and she went, oh my God, what is that? And I said, these are my happy birds. She said, they're the most horrible, horrific, that I can't stand them.
They're the ugliest things I've ever seen you
thinks
buy.
they are so ugly, and I have them out on my island. I move them to my table, and I said, the day that I look at them and they don't make me happy, I will get rid of them. That was 3 years ago. She walks in my house every time she goes, you still have those? I'm like, they make me happy. They make her cringe. Now, we don't know why, but she can have...
They're ugly.
Oh, they're not. They're so happy little birds. They're so cute. she can't
They're
stand
not
them.
happy little birds.
I don't understand why. I don't know. I think maybe she was chased by a canary in another life or something. We joke about this stuff.
She was Cinderella's evil stepsister, and the birds came down.
I was given a gargoyle.
Oh, the gargoyle
Wait.
buddy! I love him. I pat him every time I see him.
So I was given a gargoyle. I didn't know anything about gargoyles. I just thought they were cute. You know, they're in the same category
I
as,
have gargoyles.
as wizards and dragons and stuff.
Buddhas.
And so I just, it was a cement one. It's green, but it's cement. You know, it looks like the green patina.
Flutterdew, I will have her bring back those ugly little birds next time.
Oh, I'll bring
they
them
are
to the
butt
next live.
ugly.
Oh, I'll bring them to the next live. They are so happy. They just make you
Oh
feel
my god,
so
they
good.
are butt ugly.
I'm really disappointed that they're not salt and pepper shakers, so I could like use them.
Oh
they
my
just,
lord.
I love them. I love
We'd
them.
be in trouble. if
Oh
they
my
were,
word!
Right?
So
Oh my lord.
I stuck my gargoyle out on my front steps, and she came over one day. And at this point in time, we lived literally 25
Oh, black
miles
crows.
away.
Oh, well.
We have black crows.
I got a
gave
little
you one.
story to tell you about that one.
I
So,
like crows.
he just sits outside of every home.
He
And
does.
she said, "Do you know why he's outside?" I said, "'Cause it's cement. And I know if he's in the house, I'll stub my toe on him."
Exactly, Hazel.
What was that? Exactly what?
Protectors and guardians.
That's why every time I see a gargoyle, I pat him on the
And
head.
so she said, "No. Well, that may be the case, but gargoyles, the reason why they're so ugly and have these ferocious faces are they're supposed to scare away evil things, and they're actually protectors." And I'm like,
that cartoon was.
I
freaking
thought
funny.
he was a doorstop, and I didn't want to stub my toes on, because I stub my toes on everything. I stub my toes on empty floor space.
Mom broke her ankle stepping on a book.
And so...
Oh my god!
She did.
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
My school
after
book.
the live stream goes off, you gotta tell me that
Okay,
story.
so
one of you.
Debbie brought it to my attention, so I had to go into this whole research thing about... I mean, I knew they were on old Gothic buildings and stuff, but I thought they were just like architecture. I don't know. This was many, many years ago. And so now I make a conscious effort to put him out on my door. But in the beginning, I just did it. It was just something I did without conscious thought. Be curious to see what
In
all
fact-
of you do without conscious thought that you later found out was in
Yeah.
your best interest.
In fact, Omar of Oh My Gosh TV, he did a YouTube vid. Oh, I can't remember where he was. But he was in a church. And outside of the church were these big, huge gargoyles.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's
so
why they
that
have-
was
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
That's why quite a few churches
But
have
I just
gargoyles.
wanted about the whole bird thing, Hazel. 2 days I was at my mom's, and this is before either
No,
of my
I think
parents
that's-
had
but I want-
passed.
I
Oh,
wanna.
wait, let Debbie talk.
And
I know.
I was there 2 days prior to my dad passing, and a bird flew into their window.
The thing's down to 17%.
And I'm like, oh geez, who, I
Don't
just
you
didn't
need
feel right.
Not right now.
So I was at home 2 days later. I had a half a day of work. It was a holiday. Came home early, was sitting in the living room, just having some lunch. And I get a phone call.
I got a cat on my lap.
I get the phone call that you need to come down to the hospital. And, it wasn't so subtle either. You need to come to the hospital because your father passed away.
Oh, God, I remember this day.
And it was like, okay, I guess. I just didn't know what to say. I feel like I'd been blindsided upside the head. But I had the sign. I took the sign. It was the bird.
Just didn't know what to do with it
I
in
just
the moment.
didn't know what to do with the sign.
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, my dad had had a massive heart attack in the bathroom. He was in the shower. And he had a massive heart attack in the shower. And ended up falling. When he went down, he fell out of the tub onto the bathroom floor. So basically, he had died at home. But they pronounced him at the hospital, I guess, is how it went. But I should have taken the sign.
So now
I took it, didn't know what to do with the sign.
Right. We love Halloween just because, let's face it, it's a fun holiday, okay?
One day of the year we can be ourselves.
Exactly.
So we love
My favorite,
the
Halloween.
costumes. We love doing makeup. We love just kind of coming out of our comfort zone and, makeup
Being ourselves.
being the makeup of, Princess from Atlantis or whatever. So we always do some kind of costume, funky makeup, and we buy these little things. And one year I found these, and they have to make sense to me. They have to be like, oh my God, it's so fluffy, I could die kind of feeling. Like I have to have it. And I bought these 2 little crows.
Oh my God, the crows.
And I put one in one of my plants.
I think my
so
crow is over there.
he could live in a plant, and I saved one, and I know Debbie doesn't like birds, and it wasn't so much to freak her out or challenge her, but I was like, this little crow is so cute. All I could think of was like a Heckle and Jekyll or
Heckle
whatever.
and Jekyll.
And whatever I have, she has to have one too. Or,
Oh, and vice versa.
okay. So I brought it over, and she looked at me and went, oh, kid, is that for me? And I went, you hate birds. And she's like, but he needs to live with me. And he does. And I was
He lives
shocked.
right over. Let me see if
Yeah,
I
he's
can point
right
him
over
out
the
to you.
kitchen. He's on the wall.
He's on my wall.
He lives on a fryer wire basket thing that's hanging on a wall because his feet stick into it. And so it's really the only bird that I've allowed that she's
Oh
allowed
wow, cloud
to
angels. Now those
be
are
in her
cool.
home. What's a
Cloud angels.
Oh,
Those
I
are
love
very cool.
A friend of mine saw an angel in a roll of toilet paper. True story. I have the picture to prove it. She sent it to me and she said, do you see what I see? And the first thing I said was, it's a little girl and
That's right.
she's an
She
angel.
sent the picture to me too.
I
She
sent
goes,
it to
What
Deb.
do you see? I go, it's
Toilet paper and
Well, first it was toilet paper. I'm going, toilet paper. And she goes, no, look at it again. I go, oh my God, it's an angel.
Yeah,
It's a
so
butt angel.
you'd be
Butt
surprised.
angel.
But my friend sits in the bathroom. This is all seriousness, okay?
It is.
She sits in the bathroom because the only plug that is, it's a bathroom off of her bedroom. And she has no plugs open in her bedroom. Everything is already used, like for a lamp or TV or whatever. The only plug she has that she can charge her tablet is the plug in the bathroom. So she sits in the bathroom and like messages me and does stuff with her tablet.
Does her tablet and her cell phone. And
Where would she notice an angel most clearly? In the bathroom.
in the bathroom.
And then we just think it's ironic that it was on a roll of toilet paper. And I have the picture, and I've had it for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I'll pull that picture up and I'll send it to her. And I go, "Do you still see it?" She's like, "It's still there." Like I've seen pictures where you don't see it anymore. We still see the little angel on the toilet paper, which makes us laugh.
Can I tell my story of the one thing I just had to have?
Oh God, I know what it is.
No, it's the cat. It's the cat.
I don't.
I've told her about this. All right, I have always had an affinity with animals. Case in point, Auntie's cat is sitting on my lap right now and has not moved.
And my cat does not like.
She can barely jump up onto the bed, never mind someone's lap. And she,
Yeah, she's pretty hefty.
I have always
eats well.
I have always had a cat. I don't prefer cats more than dogs, but I've always had a cat, and cats have always been drawn to me. I actually volunteered for at least a month, maybe 2, at this animal rescue place.
Oh God, I couldn't do
In
that. I'd
Scout-
take them all home.
in Skowhegan. And
point.
so basically, case in point, animals have always loved me.
They
So,
do.
for some morbid reason, I don't know why, Bones called to me. Oh
my God, the
Bones
cat.
have called to me. Actually, before you move, Mom, I wonder if Todd would be willing
No,
to dig up Layla's skull.
no,
Yes,
no.
because she calls
She's
to me.
been set to peace. No, we are not digging up your dead cat. Just tell the story. Matilda, no.
No, Minerva.
Minerva. Oh,
Okay,
my word.
so I had started collecting bones, and also Pipsqueak. We can't forget Jeffrey the Pipsqueak. So I had always found the bones. Like there was one thing that I donated to a historical society because I was helping a historical society clear out a house, and I found a perfectly preserved bone mouse family. They had frozen or something in the middle of the winter in the middle of their nest. It was 5 babies. They were nursing on their mom, and then the mom's body wrapped around them. Perfectly articulated. I moved the stove. Moving the stove didn't disturb them or anything. They were just there, and I ended up donating that as like a anthropological thing. But anyway, so my friend, one of my friends knew I was into bones. I don't know why, but I'm just into them. Fake bones, real bones, a whole 9 yards.
She's good anthropologist.
So I thought about it, but $100,000 for a degree, that's kind of lofty. And that's without the grants. Like, that's after the
Okay,
grants.
so tell her about Minerva.
Okay, so
Minerva's
my friend showed up
Yeah.
one day, and she's like, I went to an estate sale. One of my friends dragged me to an estate sale, and I found something, and if it calls to you, you
Wave
can
your
have
hand
it.
at it and said 3 times goodbye, Mary.
So she pulls out these little packages.
Oh, an owl, yeah.
She has 3 of them. The first one I absolutely fell in love with. It is a mint condition, and when I die, it is going to a historical society
Okay.
or to a museum. It's a camel bone courier set. Chopsticks and knife, and the case for all 3 pieces is also camel bone. The handle for the knife is camel bone, and the chopsticks are camel bone. This is like old, like over 1,000 years old. I still get weird feelings when I hold it, which is why it's always wrapped up and kept in my little safe thing that I have. But that I will never get rid of. I will run back into a burning building to save Minerva and this knife.
Minerva!
No, Mom, I have the stick.
We'll get to Minerva, because Minerva
So-
creeps me out.
Oh,
second
are you really
one-
creeped
the
out?
second-
Oh,
the
see,
second
I'm not.
one-
I can't pick the meat off the turkey, dear.
True. How's
second
Minerva?
The second one that she pulled out was Jeffrey the Pipsqueak, which is a fully articulated scientific study in a petri dish skeleton of a Icelandic field mouse. I love him. He is my little buddy. He has squeaked at me in the middle of the night. I shit you not. I am sorry.
I poop you not.
I poop you not. I have lived in houses where there are absolutely no mice. It's
Yes,
been
Hazel,
cleared.
you do.
It has been
What?
cleared. There are no mice, no
Just have
pests.
to learn how to interpret those signs.
And I have heard squeaking. And I look over, and his little petri dish has scooched across the shelf, because they're always kept in my bedroom, has scooched across the shelf, and I hear squeaking. And I go over and look, and I'm like, what, Jeffrey? And
Okay,
I'll put him back. Squeak, squeak, squeak.
Let me...
So then there's Minerva.
All
The
right.
third one I opened up. Minerva. Minerva is an unwrapped, desiccated, mummified cat skull.
Yeah.
She came from all of these came from an estate sale of an anthropological family. The great-great-grandfather had been an anthropologist and had gone into Europe and Africa. And so while he was there, he got
Typhoon Boogie.
Minerva. I fell in love with her the second I saw her. I pulled her out. She was in this little case. I picked her up. I opened the case like it was like gold. I opened it and I pick her up and I'm like, your name is Minerva because you remind me of the Harry Potter woman. And I swear she smiled at me. I have had Minerva in my house everywhere I go. She has always been in my room and she meows at me. I'm pretty sure she chases Jeffrey. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And then I also have Hank,
No, we gotta
who
stop with
is a
Minerva.
jawbone from a
Bless you.
deer
Excuse
that I
me.
used to feed out in the woods. He got hit by an 18-wheeler and died. The coyotes came and tore apart all of him. The only part that was left was his jawbone on the side of the road, found it by chance, and I looked at it and I knew it was Jeff because his front teeth are wonky. He was the only deer I had seen who needed braces. It was Jeffrey. Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart moment. Jeffrey's on my brain. But it was him, and he came home with me. Hank. And now I have a new one. Shannon found him and went, oh my God, Sarah needs to give this one a home. It is the skull of a doe. The back was excised because she was shot in the back of the head. She was poached, and her remains were left out, and they had cut out the back of her head so you couldn't trace the ammo.
Right.
And and she found her, and she brought her home. Her name is Sybil.
Both doing it now.
She gave her to me because she's like, I hate this thing. I don't want this thing, but I saw it, and it screamed, needs to live with my sister. So bones for me are the thing. Bones and plants. I cannot go into Walmart when they're having the sales on plants and not come home with this small little thing that looks like it's going to die in 5 minutes later.
Do that, and then we name them.
And then we name them, and then they explode.
We do.
I got one over the winter. It was an ivy. He ended up dying because he went to live with Jamie, and he did not like that I sent him to live with Jamie. But his name was Zuka because he was an Asian ivy. I got him. He was 2 little stalks with 3
Oh my
little
God!
leaves in
Somebody
total.
unplug her. Give me
And
the
you gave her
stick.
this day, Mom. Gift Gab.
Give me the stick.
20 minutes
We're
on the
gonna close
bird.
this down if you don't settle down. I'm gonna send you home. Okay, so we're done with bones and plants, except I have to say this one was at my house for Thanksgiving. We're gonna
Animals
have
like
family
me.
Thanksgiving. I'm excited. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter shows up and she's like, Auntie, I have to show you this coolest thing. In the middle of dinner. We have candles, we have crystal, we have my china.
We have fine wine,
Fine
the
wine.
turkey,
We
all
have the
dressing,
whole
everything.
table set up. I'm so excited. I have living people in my house. It's not just me and the dog. And I'm like, yay, family Thanksgiving. And I come to the table, and in the middle of my table, sitting between Debbie and Draco, is Minerva.
That's right. I brought Minerva with.
And I'm like, what is that on my Irish linen tablecloth?
Because I take her out of the case.
And this one says, oh, it's Minerva, and I think she's cool, and puts her back on the table, and I'm like, we're not having dinner with Minerva.
Yes,
Put it
we
away.
are.
She made me give her a saucer. Minerva sat on her own plate because I wouldn't allow her to be on my linen. She put Minerva on a dessert plate and set her on the table, and she sat there throughout the whole meal.
Yup.
Minerva, the dead cat, skull.
And I need Layla's skull.
No, I don't know
Yes.
where she is. I don't know where she is.
I'm going to ask Tom.
He doesn't know where she is. I buried her. He doesn't know where she
Then
is.
how do you not know where she is?
Because I forget.
Because I need Sweetie and I need Layla.
No.
Because they call
These two don't have a
Every-
very good memory.
Well, no, but see, every time I go to her house,
No.
I
We know what we
swear-
know.
I swear, I always hear a cat meowing, and it's not Sweetie, because Sweetie will be laying
Okay.
on me, being quiet.
Okay.
I need
so,
to bring Layla and Sweetie Belle home
who
with me.
has bought something that didn't know what it was until they got it home and someone told them?
Oh, there's also another one. The friend that started it all with Minerva sent me a raccoon baculum. It is the funniest thing ever. It
I don't
stays.
know what a vacuum is.
It's the bone that some mammals have in their penis. It is the coolest thing
I
ever.
had to ask.
Yes, you did.
Minerva thinks it's the funniest thing.
Topic?
So, anyways,
She will knock that off the shelf.
how's everyone doing today? How about those Patriots, huh?
That's right. But who do we have here? Have we scared everyone away?
I don't know.
We have 12 people watching.
Knock twice. Knock twice if you're here.
Wow, we've
Knock
been
twice. We
doing
need to
this
take a head
foolishness
count.
for 2 hours now. My word. I'm exhausted.
Knock, knock.
Here. So,
Thank you, Flutter-Doo. Thank you, Ghost.
I know Debbie and I
Knock, knock.
will, we go to,
Well, we've got 2 out of 12. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
That would be me also. So
And me.
we've got 10.
And me.
well, we appreciate you
Eight.
guys sticking around
9.
for all this foolishness. I know Debbie and I go to flea markets a lot. We had one that was our favorite till it closed.
Yeah.
And we would go on a mission to find the treasure.
Try to find the best
deal.
find of the
I
day.
didn't buy anything that I didn't know the meaning of till afterwards, but the necklace that Justin had given me, the moon, and you guys told
Thank you, Mr.
me
Dave.
about that.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea that there was significance. I looked at it.
Liked
I
it?
liked it.
Animals do this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mom has
She
always
can't even jump on the bed. I have no clue how she jumped on your lap.
Okay, legit. Mom has
You
a
need to
picture
cut
of it.
that.
I got wild birds to sit on my finger and let me give them a kiss like Snow White. Mom has this picture.
She
Okay,
doesn't like
I
people.
had a fox.
Yeah, but
come up.
Shannon's the one that got her to come out of her kennel that time, and
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Shannon when
Yeah,
it comes
she
to
likes
animals.
Okay,
get it from
we
Dad.
got Mr. Dave,
cat whisperers.
Hazel.
Just watching, Mr. Davey, just watching all this foolishness. This is makes your life look calm, doesn't it?
And this is us
Welcome
when we're
to the
well
family.
behaved.
Welcome to the family.
Like I said, circus without the tent.
I think you need to go for a walk.
Circus without the tent.
No, I'm just having fun because I like picking on you about Minerva. If I can make you squirm, it makes me happy.
Can Minerva come next weekend?
No,
Yes.
I can't even pick the meat off the turkey when we're done.
I
eating.
No, Thanksgiving, she sends the carcass to
I'm like,
me
"Here,
and goes,
make soup."
Here, go ahead, make soup.
And I'm the
Hands
one
me
that's
the
pulling out
carcass.
the wishbone going, hey, Mama, look.
See, that doesn't bother me. Wishbones are
No,
okay.
it's putting your hand in.
It's the cut.
Put your hand up
She
the turkey
can't
butt.
even eat chicken on the bone.
You can't
No,
stick your
I
hand
can't.
in the friggin'
No.
turkey.
No, she can't.
No.
And I'm just like, I'm sticking my
But
hand
here's,
in the turkey butt.
but here's a weird thing. When Shannon got her deer, my landlord took my youngest out hunting, and she got her first deer. Walked right out in
It's so
front of her
soft.
like, here I am, da-da. So he's like,
If Shannon
you
doesn't
have
want
to
it, thank you.
process this deer or it's going to cost you another $100. Well, I had to sell a vehicle, people, to have this deer mounted with the taxidermist because I, in all my wisdom, without thinking, said, if you get a buck, we'll put it on the wall. If you get a doe, we'll just take pictures. They went out to the woods. It
2-pointer.
was light at like, I don't know, 7 after 6. You couldn't load your gun till it was light out or 10 minutes later or whatever, youth day.
Yep.
She called me at 20 minutes to 7 and said, I have a buck. We're not going to repeat what I said because I was like, and she's like, and we're going to keep it. And I went, no, you didn't. Well, anyway, she did.
And she got bloodied.
So he's on my wall. And
I'm half tempted
We had
name him
to-
Max.
In fact, she tagged out the first day.
yeah, the first day youth day,
First
within
day.
the first half
Tagged
hour.
out. First
None of
half
us kept
hour.
the
So-
bones or anything, but
He said it's
My dad
gonna.
was
I had
always-
to sell a
ended
vehicle
up hearing
to
a deer.
pay
dear
for
me,
this thing to go to the taxidermist. It's not cheap.
No,
And
it
so
your
wasn't.
liver is good.
I was like, I'm not going to
liver.
spend another $100 to have this thing
I've
dressed
tried
out,
deer liver,
you
I've
know,
tried
into
deer
cuts of
heart.
meat. So I was like, I can't
Hazel,
do
we're
bones.
the crazy bunch.
I'm like, I can't do
tried
bones.
deer
So he
liver,
took
deer
his,
heart,
what is it,
which is
electric
really
heart
good.
is
knife
good.
thing or sawzall.
Sozo.
I'm sorry, baby.
And he literally quartered it and brought it
hell out of
over
her.
in sections, so
Sorry.
and showed me how to do, hamburger versus roast for. And when it got close enough to the bones, I was almost in tears and said, "Can you do this? And I'll split the meat that you take." And he did. But they
Mickey's gonna do her
had
nails. so
fun
they're
laughing
awful.
at me because I'd be sitting in my kitchen in tears, going, "I can't touch this." I
You
can't
want a
touch
funny
this."
story about a bird?
Oh God! here we go.
Okay. We had chickens and we had a goose. And
Oh, thank
well,
you, Hazel. You may regret it someday, but tonight I appreciate you so very much.
But anyways, so we had chickens, we had a goose, Lucy Goosey. Well,
Of course.
my mom went to hold Big Bird, which was what the yellow Gerald's yellow chicken, so that he could chop the head off. She couldn't even hold him. She went back inside. We finished that.
Well, we finished that.
And then my dad comes in. My dad comes in with Lucy Goosey without the head. Like literally friggin' hits her onto the floor. And all the wind comes out of her and you hear honk! And my mom is like, take her out,
I
she's
would
still
have
honking.
been crying. I would have been crying.
My mom was. She's take her out, she's still honking. And he's like, she's dead. And my mom says, I don't care, she's still honking, take her out!
See, my brothers scared me when we had chickens. Of course, we lived, with the farm animals. And they would, the season would come around where you'd say, oh, we gave you a good life and now you need to, we fed you, now you feed us. And
yes, Hazel,
they
exactly.
would take the feet and they'd pull, oh, it's just so disgusting. This is why I'm traumatized, I know, by like the whole bone thing. They would take the feet and they'd pull the tendon and wrap it around a popsicle stick and they'd leave it and it would dry. And then I'm like 5 years old and they would take these chicken feet and they'd pull the stick and it would go like this and and they would chase me with chicken feet doing this.
I remember this story.
And I was like 5. I'm traumatized by that kind of stuff. That's not cool.
Thank God I'm an only child.
Funny story on animals.
I know.
I have to tell this.
And that's why I don't like the Chucky movies.
When I lived in a town called Stratford in New Hampshire.
I don't like dolls that look like Chucky.
I
like the movies.
Oh, I love porcelain dolls.
I like porcelain dolls, but I don't like ones that look exactly
I think
like
Debbie
Chucky.
should tell a story.
I can't stand them because of my brothers.
I remember the day Barney had the seizures.
Oh my God.
But when I lived in Stratford, there was a week straight where every night I was calling Mom because I made a new friend.
Oh, I remember that.
First night, I go outside to smoke a cigarette. And there's this skunk sitting on the edge of my patio. I'm just standing in the doorway. I'm like, don't move, it'll spray you. Don't move, it'll spray you. I'm like, hi, little guy. And he gets right up on his back feet. Doesn't do the handstand thing. He goes right up on his back feet and just goes,
oh my God.
Doesn't even go for my trash or anything. Starts walking up to the door, sniffs my feet, turns around and walks away.
Calls me and goes, I have a new friend.
His name is Flower.
Oh my God.
You took that from Bambi.
Yes, I did.
She took pictures of it and sent them to me. I'm like, that's not a friend you should be having in the woods. Oh, but he's cute.
The next day, it was a fox. I go outside, not 8 hours later, because I had just gotten up that morning. I'd gone out and saw the skunk right before I went to bed. So maybe 10, 11 hours later, I go outside to have a cigarette. Sun's just coming up. I look over. This beautiful, huge red fox comes trotting out of the woods. I'm like, aw, shit. My door's closed. Sorry.
Ah, poop.
There's a nickel in the jar.
Crap.
My door's closed. That thing can run faster than I can turn around. I'm just going to stand still and hope it doesn't have rabies.
Right?
Comes right up to me. Sits down at the edge of my patio. My patio's not big. It was maybe like 3 feet out from my door by maybe 8 feet long along the
Just
wall.
a cement slab.
Comes right up in front of me at the edge of the patio, sits down, screeches at me, cocks its head, and is like, eh. I'm like, hi. And he turns
Another picture, sent to Mom.
Yeah, just took a picture, turns around, goes back out to the woods, sniffs, pees, comes back, comes onto my patio, sits right at my feet, looks up at me, puts the one paw up, bats me on the leg, turns around, walks into the woods. I call Mom. She's getting ready for work. She's like, you're Snow White. You're Snow White.
Then there was a rabbit.
Yeah, then the next day was a rabbit.
Yeah, there
His
was a
name was
rabbit.
Thumper. I named the fox Karama. There's a reason for this.
Okay, I know I don't recognize Karama, but I do recognize freaking Thumper. Same freaking
Yep. The bunny
with
came right out to me. I'm
Flower.
sitting on my patio. I'm halfway through a cigarette. All of a sudden I hear this rustle, 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 rustle. And thump, 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 thump.
Oh, Hazel doesn't like porcelain
Porcelain
dolls
dolls
in her
either.
house. They can be kind of creepy.
That's
I
a bit
have, like,
creepy.
love
I have the
porcelain
ugly
dolls.
baby doll that for some reason I had to keep in. My son
Creepy.
loved this little doll that had a really bad hairdo, and we tried washing it and combing it and drying, and it
didn't
just
work.
never did what it was supposed to. And he loved it. My mother gave it to him, and no one else would love this doll, so we still have her
I
packed
think
away
you're gonna
somewhere.
lose your teeth.
She's pretty
So
funky looking.
So the third day, it was a bunny. Thump, 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 over to me where I'm sitting on my patio. gets right up on my foot, lays down. Another picture to Mom.
Ozman wants out.
The fourth.
Oh my god!
The fourth,
Another world heard from.
Right.
the fourth day, it was a deer. Huge. I wish I had a hunting permit that day because I would have been
No.
eating good.
No.
Just saying. The dark part of me was like, oh, that's a lot of steak. But the next day, this beautiful 8-point buck comes out of the woods, comes right up to my patio. I'm standing outside. I got my morning coffee in one hand, my pack of cigarettes are in my pocket, and in the other hand, I have a bran muffin. Comes right up to me, sniffs me. I'm like, you want some? Nibble, 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 nibble. Put my coffee down. He's still just standing there. I walked away from him, put my coffee down. He's still standing there. I go back with the muffin. Nibble, nibble, nibble. Another picture to Mom.
Yeah, that place was weird with the animals.
The next day,
Snow
a murder of crows. Not an attempted murder, a full-on murder, which is 3 or more, which I find that name hilarious. I need that t-shirt.
I'm gonna
Out on-
murder you.
Out on my patio, I go out there, I sit down. They're not running. I'm like, oh, and I open the door. They'll just fly off. Whatever, you know? Nope. One comes up, lands right on my knee. Another picture to Mom. His name is Edgar.
Edgar Allan Poe.
I'm still in contact with the lady who owns that house. She still sees all of them. They still go up to the door and try to find me. That week was weird. And then after that, it was a woodchuck.
Oh, cool. See, we have coyotes at the farm,
Yeah.
but they would sit in the blueberry field.
I heard
Yeah.
I would
And
hear
so we
coyotes when I was with my
asked
my
them to
parents'
leave.
place.
We started walking
Never
the
seen
perimeter
one,
with the
though.
dogs so they'd know that it was our space.
Audrey, he wants to go out.
All right, guys. Anybody got any more questions? Because we're probably going to wrap this up shortly. We've been here for quite a while.
The funniest one was
I
the
don't
woodchuck.
know if we've been entertaining or just
2 hours and 30 minutes.
yeah. I don't know if we've been helpful with anything. And certainly,
Ozzy man.
a few of us think
Because
we're
we've
entertaining.
kind of gone off topic quite a bit.
Oh, yes.
So, does anybody have any questions or anything they want to say to help close this out? Any topics you want us to visit another time?
The barking dog in the background is mine.
Yeah, that's Ozzy. He always
He's-
has something to say at this time of night.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure they can hear you, but they can't see you.
Oh, I'm over here.
Debbie's hiding in the corner.
She's done with life right
Why
now.
don't you go sit with him for a moment so he will
Oh, he's
quiet
just-
down.
He just wants out.
No, he's just bored.
Yeah, he's bored. So, if anybody has any questions, oh, thank you, Ghost Finder. We got a little out of hand a little while, but that's okay. We'll come back to topic eventually.
Eventually, we make full circle.
Yeah, well, you kind of covered up the paper that has the topics on
Well,
it.
we did. We
We covered the topic pretty well.
I think Draco and Miss Adventure helped keep us entertained quite a bit. Oh, thank you, Hazel.
Oh.
Thank you, Flutterdew.
Am I
guys
younger
are-
or are you younger?
You're older than me
Very
by a
well.
year and a half. Oh,
So make sure
Okay,
that
so she's my doppelganger because I'm
I
older.
don't know.
I got
Something.
kisses. Aw,
So
baby.
make sure you all sub each other, show support, hit like.
Oh, she does the thumper foot. She does the thumper foot.
We certainly enjoyed hanging out with you guys tonight. I don't know if anything that we said
Made
was
sense.
helpful or made sense or
We kind of went off on a tangent on the end. We're sorry.
we have a mouse in your pocket.
I
We
have a cat on my lap.
Cat on the lap. That's
No,
not
I
Poe.
think she's right. I think we all went off topic.
No, the
It
cat in the
started
cage
with the
counts.
birds.
we're just gonna keep
It
the stick
start-
away from
It
Draco next
started
time.
with the birds.
Debbie has possession of the stick and hasn't said anything. You got
We
anything?
gave up on the stick.
You got anything to close out, Miss Seventh? Any thoughts? Any? You're looking a little dazed and confused to me. Is your brain hurt yet? This I warned
it's
you.
just
We got
us
these.
three
We got,
talking.
we
My
got,
brain hurts a lot.
we got these two together, and I warned her, and she said, "Ah, it'll be alright.
It'll be alright. Boy, was I wrong.
We never did send them to the apartment down the
I told
hallway.
you, send it to the other apartment.
We should have done that a while
Next
ago.
No, because then we would have just jumped on the live and just been like.
That's okay. We can do
I
it.
still have to drive her home. So
And
just
I've only
imagine.
had 1 cup of coffee today. Imagine me with an energy drink on my
No, we're
mouth.
not stopping for that. That ain't happening.
No, I'm talking for next weekend.
How did it get to be 8:20 already?
I don't know. My life is just a blur. It's just a blur.
Whenever we all get together, it is. It's like,
Do that again. So this is our favorite expression, and we have we found on Facebook. I don't know how, but there's such a creature. It's called a screaming frog.
screaming. There is. It's a real creature.
You guys
Screaming
have to
frog.
look this up because this animal best describes most moments in our life. You ready?
Thanks, Hazel, for the
You ready?
confirmation.
This
Alright.
is a screaming frog look, and we've just about ready to oh my. Ready?
Ready?
And this thing makes the craziest noise, and it pops up and it goes, and its eyes bulge, and we really can relate to the screaming frog. So look it up,
We
guys.
can.
It's hysterical.
And it's kind of funny that Mom can relate to this, and her favorite animal is a frog.
Yeah, I love frogs.
So many items she has got over the years that are froggies.
Frogs and turtles.
I got a bunch of stuffed animal monkeys.
I just have bones. Bones everywhere.
Okay.
Bone soup.
I also started getting these little figurines, which are called furry bones, and they're little skeletons that are wearing little outfits. I have a dragon with
too
a
cute.
marshmallow. I have a
send me
dragon
a
with a
picture.
marshmallow, and I have a vampire bat with a
Seriously?
syringe.
Oh, another
Oh,
topic.
send me a picture.
Do not encourage this.
I think that's
Mom, you
cool.
can get them at the cow's ass. And I can say that because it's a store name.
The cow's ass.
It's a leather and novelty item
Where the heck
store
is
in
that?
Hampton
Hampton
Beach.
Beach.
Oh, well, I'm not driving 4 hours south to go get me a skeleton.
I've actually
Ow.
been to Hampton Beach.
That place is beautiful. That's where Mom got her tree in a ball.
Just stop. Tree in a ball.
You know, if I am my address to each of you, will you just take turns coming to get me and me in 7th and just scurrying us away with I need a vacation.
Just a couple days.
Yeah, really?
I'll kidnap you for a few days, Mommy. It's okay.
No, that I'm trying
Hey.
to get away.
How about one of these weekends we'll let them have their girls' night and we'll have a girls' night ourselves?
Oh my God, we'll have the War of the Lives.
No, there's only
Oh
a
my
wall
God.
separating your world and this world. Oh,
Right?
Okay.
But we can lock our door.
Oh, it's our door now?
We can
You let
lock
me
our door.
Lock behind your door. Oh, my goodness.
And we have the key.
Your husband's nickname is
Is Frog.
Oh, he's got to be a good guy to have a nickname Frog. That's funny. All
I have a
topics
nickname
covered.
for Willow.
Oh, really? Let's not share things we don't need to know. What you do?
Yeah.
Well, so many of them can't be repeated.
This one can be.
I know I'm
Sister
Brad.
from another mister.
No, that ain't it.
Oh, I was hoping it was something nice. My nickname? Trouble?
Wench.
Oh, wench. That's not a nickname. That's a lifestyle.
She's
She
going,
was-
she's going wenching tonight.
Wenching tonight.
My dad's nickname was High Lord Cumberland, and
Yes.
she was his wench.
Yeah.
High
that's
Lord
true.
Cumberland.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
all right, guys. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you all. We didn't expect
It's been fun.
this live stream to be so long. I hope we at least covered some rational thoughts and topics and conversation. Otherwise, the rest is just...
Oh, Mom, no, we did a public service here. We made them feel normal.
Oh my God, I need Tylenol. You guys are killing me.
Do you guys all feel normal now compared to us?
The gypsies have landed.
I'm feeling kind of
It wasn't
broken.
boring.
It wasn't boring.
Right?
Oh, Froggy, cute. Hey, my, what was she to me? My brother's sister-in-law, remember? Dow was Froggy.
Oh, yeah,
She was a
Froggy.
Froggy.
Flutterdo, I've never known any kind of live stream, whether it's just these two or not, to be boring when it comes to anybody here.
You know, we do have we have the understanding of being normal and low key. We just don't have the ability. Is that correct? We do have the
this is true.
understanding.
It's her fault, but she made me this way. Under her direction, I have no filter. I have a very foul mouth, and normal is a setting on a washing machine.
Oh, God.
And the apple did not fall far from
And
the
I
tree.
work in the mental health field. Ha! There's a coincidence, right? How did we do that?
Robin, I'm kind of in that system.
Me too, bipolar.
But you know,
What to do? I'm glad
Yeah.
we could, hun.
it's a mystery how I've gotten to this age.
Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes we all just need a really good laugh to get us
Yeah.
through our day.
Ian gets
And it's
You know, we do
from
actually
this
look
off, we're
pretty
gonna be like,
boring. We do, yeah.
We
Once
do.
we're done, we'll be sitting here going, "Oh, now what? Oh, I don't know. Let's just sit and crochet.
Crochet.
Let's
Color.
just, you know, tomorrow I'll
I
be
don't
in my
have enough
pajamas
crayons
all
to deal with
day."
these two.
Ready?
We do live very. Are you having your own little moment over there without us?
She said, "Let's color," and I said, "I don't have enough crayons to deal with you two."
I have my own.
I have my own
crayons.
crayons. I know you can't
Oh,
touch
why
them.
don't you take the dog out for a walk? No, really, we do live very quiet,
We've
uneventful. This is the most excitement my life has. Stop, behave.
kinda. You too.
Except when trees are falling on vehicles.
Yeah.
I haven't had anything exciting happen in my
that
life.
tree should have fallen on your van.
Mom, last night.
Oh, let me close out. Let me close out
his
with
was
this
the
story.
better out of the
Okay,
two.
all right. This is our closing out story. Okay, my life is usually very boring. I live alone with a cat. Cat was not my cat. Cat decided I'm her person.
Coloring pens.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? I just got hooked on gel pens, glitter gel
Oh
pens.
yeah, she hates glitter, but she's
I
like,
hate glitter.
but it's
I
a-
hate gel
It's
pens.
the herpes of crafts.
no, she's
Glitter will never wash away.
she loves these glitter pens, despite the fact that it's glitter and gel pens. But when you put them together, they become something different.
They're awesome.
So, I live with a cat. I work, I go home, or I'm here.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So, the last few weekends, Draco's been coming up, hanging out. You know, and
And I will
I'll-
be making mods too, by the way.
yeah. So, anyways, Draco just recently moved back to Maine, so I think she's trying to cram in
Hush.
all the chaos into like the last 3 weekends that I missed out on because she was living in New Hampshire for a year. So she's making up for lost time. So, anyways, last night we had bounced in on some live streams and had some interesting moments. So it was very late, getting ready for bed. I, in fact, had called Seventh and said, "You got to jump in on this live. I think there's something going on that you can validate." Well, for whatever reason, there was no audio, there was no video. All she had was chat. So I'm like chatting messages to Seventh,
Hey,
like,
tell me what's going on.
because she can't hear what's going on.
I had
So
nothing.
anyways, we all get settled, we're gonna go to bed. I wake up in the middle of the night and I believe someone had come through that I validated. And
Yes, Rudy.
so, long story short, this person very close to me we realized later, had an elbow injury, fell down her stairs and hit her elbow into the front door jamb. The front door jamb sent this huge splinter into her elbow. And we were all like, "Don't bend your arm." And she went, "What?" And bent her arm, and it like shattered the splinter into her arm. I mean, it was like a 12-inch splinter. She felt nothing. She was like, "Oh, look at that. I broke my door. Oh, geez, look at that. It's now in my arm. We need to go to the emergency room." So we bring it to the emergency room. They get it all out of her arm.
I'm
blah,
good,
blah, blah.
Rudy.
So I wake up in the middle of the night, and I'm ready to just scream because I can't move my elbow. Okay, literally. Now, let's not get all freaky deaky
And she
here.
had woken me up.
I do have past history of having tennis elbow. Never played tennis. It's a fallacy that you have to play tennis to get tennis elbow.
You don't.
And I've had shots and stuff like that. And occasionally, if I don't move when I'm sleeping and my arm stays in one position or my legs, you know, you keep your leg in a certain position, you try to move your knee 8 hours later, it doesn't want to move. Well, that happens with my elbow, but literally hasn't happened in several years.
Cat whisper.
So I'm sleeping with Sock Monkey here, who tries to sleep like she's the arms of a clock, and every, you know, she turns like the clock turns, okay? And I got elbows, and I'm like, it's like she's when she was 3 years
How did
old.
Jamie sleep with you?
She tries to climb
It's like
into my
sleeping-
skin and pushes me into the wall.
It's like
So I
sleeping,
cannot
yeah.
move.
It's like sleeping with a living sundial. Like, you don't know what direction she's going to be in. So I wake up, and my left arm is literally frozen, like locked. And it's like it feels like a Charlie horse mingled with a broken bone. And I'm like, saying things that I can't repeat. And I'm like, and I'm swearing, and I'm like almost in tears, and I can't get my elbow to
And I'm
unlock.
laughing.
And she's laughing.
She
So
turned into a sailor on a Saturday night on shore leave.
It was bad. And I'm like, what is this? And so I immediately get a little cranky, and this one says, I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. She goes to the bathroom. I'm waiting for help, okay? She's in the kitchen. I managed to get myself out of bed. I go into the kitchen. She's standing there getting a drink of water. I'm like, what are you doing? I woke up and my throat was dry. And I needed a drink. I'm like, she's like, what's the matter? I'm like, I'm broken. I'm like, can you break an arm while you're sleeping? I don't know. I go back to bed. I get back in bed. I'm laying there. And I'm like, I might need help with this. She says, okay, Mom. I'm laying there. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
I was so out of it.
I literally can't move my elbow. Like, it hurts so bad, I thought it was broken. And I have a high threshold for pain. I mean, I've given birth to 4 children with no
I
pain
broke
medicine.
bones on the way out.
So I'm laying there going, can you help me? And I hear from the kitchen, now she's sitting at the table. I hear, huh? I go, I need help in here. Okay.
And she's waiting.
I'm waiting and waiting. Because I called Debbie really PO'd. I'm like, can you believe what? She's like, what happened? Because it was 5 o'clock, in fact, 4:45. And I'm messaging Debbie, are you awake? Because she needs to talk me out of, you know, committing physical harm to the person I'm with. And she's not up, although she was 20 minutes later. But by then, I was back in bed, apparently asleep. I don't know what happened so quickly. And so I'm like, now I could use some help. Now she literally says, oh, now I didn't know we were doing this thing now. I'm like, this thing is, I think I have a broken arm now. Oh, okay. I don't know where she was. I don't know where she came back from.
At the table.
But she had no concept of the fact that I'm swearing things that I was making up swear words. I'm in tears. I'm like, I need ice, frozen peas. Give me a frozen, you know, lunchbox thing, something. Oh, I didn't know we were doing the thing now. I'm like, the thing is, you need to help. So she comes in with a little ice pack, all wrapped up, puts it on my arm. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, this is not a broken bone. It's just my elbow's locked. I'll get through it. I'm like, why is this happening? Of course, I'm, you know, saying things to the person that I think said hello earlier in the night. And with the elbow, I'm like, really? Like, I had to notice that you're around because you had to break my elbow too? Like, a hello would have been just fine. That's not bad enough. I'm sleeping in a bed that this one said, here, this is a good bed. You could use it till you fix the iron bed that you have.
It is a good bed.
The iron bed that I have belonged to the same person with the elbow, okay, who I was related to, who has passed. I had just said to Debbie a week ago,
Yep.
I can't wait to get
Okay,
a new
she's
box
really
spring and
comfortable.
mattress, and I'm having the iron bed sandblasted, refinished. I'm going to set it up. I'm so excited. Earlier that day, I was like, yeah, I called the guy about the sandblast, and I'm going to get the bed done. This one comes in. She's like, are you feeling better? I'm like, not really. But I'm settled with the blanket under my arm and the ice pack. And I'm like, maybe if I just don't move and I go back to sleep, it'll be
Don't
better.
move.
It'll be better in the morning.
Keywords. Don't
move. Okay? I'm like, I'm just going to lay here and not move.
Not move.
If I relax and go back to sleep, it'll be better, when I wake up in a few hours. Okay. I'm laying there. My eyes closed. Nothing hurts. Because if you get it in that place where it's okay, you're good. You move a quarter of an inch, it hurts like crazy. This one sits on the, I want to say passenger side, on the opposite side of my bed at the foot of the bed. Don't know why she sat on the foot of the bed, but she sat on her side, the foot of the bed. The next thing I know, now this bed's been fine since I put it back together with her help 3 weeks ago, because I had taken it apart. I was going to get the other bed fixed. The next thing I know, my feet are in the air, my head is 45-degree
And
angle
I'm on the
down
ground.
in the
And I'm
frame
on the floor.
of the
I
bed.
can't breathe. I'm laughing so hard.
She's on the floor, and I'm like, words come, and my arm goes, and immediately felt like it had flown off my body and hit the other wall. I'm like, there goes my arm. It's left the body. It's no longer locked because it has been ripped off my body. And I'm like, what the was that? And she's going, I can't help you. I'm sorry. I'm just... And she's on the floor in hysterics, and I can't get off the bed. That is now like a 45-degree angle in the bed frame. Okay? Because I only have one arm. Like, my other arm is somewhere in the corner of my room. I know it. And I'm like, help me. In a minute. No, we need to do this now. We took the bed apart. My box spring and mattress is now on the floor. She got me all settled back in the bed. I'm like, don't touch anything. Don't get near me. Leave me alone. I woke up this morning. It was fine. I mean, it's a little tender because, it was off my body for a moment. But it's back. I'm never setting up that bed again. Not
Then she
sleeping in
woke
that
up this
bed.
morning.
And this all happened in 25 minutes. Because she messaged me and said, oh, I'm awake now. And apparently I was back to sleep, never got the message. I don't know how you can have 25 minutes of that happening and then go back to sleep. Like, I'm saying that very well could have been psychic attack. You're thinking, if you ever wanted to be like, yeah, I'm just blaming that on spirit, that's a moment to blame on spirit. Because none of it made sense. Like, the bed just went... I mean, I haven't tipped tables that severely. It went whoop! I mean, I was like... It was not fun. It was not fun. Bathroom door again? Bathroom door again.
It opened the other night, too.
It's a little bit open. Not much.
Yeah, so that's a life moment that
that's a life moment, all
So
right.
the bed has been disassembled.
And of course, the one thing that she says before she falls asleep, she's half asleep. I'm still laying there chuckling a little bit. I heard her phone go off when this one messaged her, and she goes, "How much you want to bet this is that person telling me I should have got the
Should have got the bed done last week. Yep, it was her bed. I should just get the bed done. And oh, by the way, how's your elbow?"
And then this morning, she woke up. I'm still passed out. My face is in the pillow.
Oh, yeah. So I wake up this morning. I'm like, oh, hey, I can bend my elbow. Well, good thing that's all over with. I have no idea what any of it was about. And I'm like, well, the bed won't be an issue anymore because everything's on the floor. And I'm laying there and I hear, Mom. I'm I'm like, I don't even want to talk to her. My eyes aren't even open yet, but I know I'm awake because I got the cat crawling over me. And I'm like, I do not want to talk to her right now. I'm still kind of mad. And I hear, Mama! Now, I have 2 children that call me Mama. The other one calls me Ma. Well, only one of them is with me. And I hear, Mom? Yeah, I'm ignoring you. I hear, Mama! Fine. I turned my head and I said, what? Right out loud, what? And what I see is a blue pillow with a face stuffed into the pillow going, and just red hair everywhere. And I'm like, well, she didn't say that. I'm like, I'm up now. I'm up now. That's it. Time for coffee. I saw your message. I called. I'm like, yep. Had an interesting night. And
the interesting stuff
I have an
always
interesting
happens when
morning.
I'm around.
I'm having an interesting I don't know who was hollering Mama. It could have been her reliving it in her dream,
Mom?
going, I'll help you in a minute. I don't know.
Mom, we had heard okay, so just point of order. The only ones that call Mom Mama are us girls.
Yeah.
Her 2 daughters. I have a little sister who passed away at 7 months in utero before she was stillborn. We had heard her name that night several times.
Don't mention the live stream, but on
during
the
the
live
live
stream. Yeah, so my girls
That was
were
my
just
first
causing me
thought.
all kinds of grief. I don't know. I think
Shannon was the only one behaving.
it was interesting. But anyways, who knows? I mean, they say there's no coincidences. My life is just, and yours as well, a random collection of, what do they say, unfortunate events and
Yeah,
coincidences.
A random collection of WTF moments.
Yeah.
So,
We have lots of them.
you know, you just gotta
We do.
say, huh, that was interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting. Great.
Yeah. But the bed's been disassembled. The elbow's good.
Eh,
We'll see.
She had her coffee.
I had my 3-year-old.
Your
When
3-year-old?
Philip was 3, 3-year-old nephew rapped me out to his mother. I had a habit of saying F you to my brother Adrian. Well, Philip picked it up and said, F you, Bubba. I said F you. Well, Shannon asked him where he heard that. Auntie Ginny says it to Uncle Adrian all the time.
Oh, little ears, little ears. Nothing is sacred.
3-year-old.
Nothing sacred.
Nothing
in
is
my world.
sacred when you have children.
3 years.
Oh,
and
I'm
he
aware.
ratted
And
me
you know-
out to his mother.
And you think that you can get peace and quiet in the bathroom, right?
Yeah, that don't happen.
You
Not
can't
with
even
little
get
ones.
to your bathroom.
I can't even get to my bathroom.
I have legit.
You know,
had
the
to lock
husband is
myself
saying,
in
you know,
another room.
Where's my socks? Where's my keys? And the kid is saying, Mom, I need this, I need that. And it's like, guys, I'm kind of like busy in here.
We used
That's okay, that don't matter. We'll come in anyway.
Debbie used to call me and say, I'm not really taking a shower. I just want to talk to somebody that understands why I'm sitting here with the water running. Not really taking a shower, but just, I have to vent. I'd be like, okay. And I put the phone on speaker, and I'd be like, should I go in my bath? She's like, yeah, go in your bathroom and turn the water on and pretend you're taking a shower. And we'd go in our own bathrooms, turn the showers on, and we'd sit and we'd cry and we'd vent and we'd go, I'm so glad I needed the shower. And I'm like, we didn't take a shower. But they'll never know. They don't need to know. Yeah. Yeah.
I've had to watch my younger cousins before, and there was one point when I was trying to quit smoking.
You need to try to be a comedy on YouTube. Oh, jeez.
Robin.
I don't know if I could do that, though, because if I
This stuff just comes naturally.
If we
It just
had
happens.
if we had to remember stuff to be
already
funny,
are.
we'd forget. Like
We
this
would.
stuff, I don't
We
know how.
could never stick to like a
Amnesia.
script or anything.
No.
You can't make this crap up, people.
You think most comedians stick to a script?
Well,
They try to.
we just can't make this
We
crap
could
up.
make a sitcom.
Jeff Dunham just
We
spurts
could.
things, and he's not only a comedy,
You know,
but
like the
freaking
Goldbergs?
ventriloquist at that.
Oh, yeah.
The Goldbergs is a show that's based on the 80s, like the 70s show.
Yep.
Okay, but it's the 80s version.
Oh,
my
God.
word. We saw an episode of it yesterday or today because I got
laughed
an
so hard, I
antenna,
almost peed myself.
inside antenna
Yeah.
for the TV.
Key points.
Key points.
She's had it for a month. It took me 10 minutes to set it up. She could not
Oh,
figure it out.
that'd be easy to remember,
Buttons.
considering.
It had a cord, it had a cable, and you had to put it in the right place. It was in the box, and I was like, here, figure this out. So we get...
Candy, nice to meet you.
Yes.
I was gonna say that's Deb. No, that's Robin. I'm Deb.
Yes.
That's Ginny, and that's Sarah.
Yeah. We'd like to say that you could unsee all of this and unremember all of this. I don't
You
know
will
what to tell
remember
you.
it to the day you die.
You can't unsee this now.
Yeah, my no.
All right, so we're
It's just
gonna
burnt in your minds now.
we
are?
do this again, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably.
But we so appreciate you
We
guys.
can stream on mine and then turn around and stream on yours.
Yeah, so that we'll share the craziness
So it'll be
on
like a
our
16-hour
channels. 'Cause
stream.
We can't just put everything on my channel that's ridiculous. So
Or mine.
we'll spread it around.
Oh,
But-
wait, we can play on 2 other channels, too.
Yeah. I think when they do a live stream, we should crash in on them and be
Oh
like
my God,
ridiculous,
yes, we should.
obnoxious, middle-aged women going, but let me tell you this.
With the bottle of wine.
With the
I was just gonna
wine.
say, we were already planning this to do it with wine and talk about adult novella. Believe me, we've already got that. No, novella, mama. Mini books.
Oh, Jesus.
Novella.
I'm saying this. So
And then, of course, we
anyways,
were going to do the paranormal romances because
make sure that if you haven't subscribed, those that are here, subscribe
Jamie's
each
fuzzy.
other.
Have at it, ladies.
Hit the like button.
FaceTime would be great. You can go ahead and add us on Facebook if you want.
Yeah.
I am...
Auntie,
Oh,
what is
she's
with your
doing
cat?
buttons.
I don't know.
So we're planning on
That's
Seven
me, if you
Seekers
wanna-
channel.
Add me on Facebook.
Yeah.
If you want to... I don't know if you want to put yours in or not.
Yeah, go ahead. What is it? What is it?
Facebook.
Oh, no. Facebook. I don't have a Willow Win Facebook, but I'm going to set up a Willow Win Facebook.
Okay.
Separate from my...
See, my YouTube.
Only because I have, like, family, like, kids and stuff on my regular Facebook. So I'm going to set up a Willow Win Facebook. No,
See,
you. Let me
It's
be
just
it.
me on my Facebook.
I will be setting it up
will
for
set up
her.
she knows my passwords. I don't.
It's just
Yeah.
it's just me on my Facebook,
She-
so I don't really mind. But
She calls me and she'll be like,
they
"What's my
would-
password?"
you would have to put your the YouTube name that I'd recognize
Yeah.
in a message.
Same here.
Yes,
So-
I can usually tell.
Subscribe and like everyone that was in the
Yep,
room.
subscribe. Hit the like button, and remember, hit your notification bell.
Yes, be sure. And check to see if there's anyone that I haven't subscribed to. I will.
Yep,
to it.
and I will get back
Promise.
to my subscriptions after this. I will subscribe to you guys that subscribe to me.
Make sure
I do have a
you
fidget spinner thingy.
follow
I have-
Seven
Oh
Seekers.
yeah, and in the
Found
center
it
is
in
me.
a-
So
Found it in a parking lot.
What?
And your uncle found it in a parking lot. It was on a day that I was just really like, ah! I hate people, I hate life, I'm done. And he got out of the van, just happened to, up at Shaw's. And he goes, oh, look what I found! Picks it up, it was a fidget spinner. Purple. It's mine.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm like, oh my god, this really worked. This
What
is
is
really
up
common.
with your cat?
I have no idea if she likes you.
So follow Seven Seekers.
your
We're gonna
charger
plan
doesn't seem to be
some
charging.
investigations, maybe
Yes.
some indoor stuff.
My life is actually coming down a little bit from being way up here. We're now coming down here. So life is smoothing out a little bit. So we are planning on some investigations before snow hits. And I'll go walk in the snow. I don't care. I'll be warm. So we have investigations coming up. We do some live EVPs.
Yeah.
We have that
Saturday
too.
morning coffee talk.
Lizzie, I didn't see you come in. Hi, hon.
Oh, hi, Elizabeth.
Yeah, we should be getting snow here.
Any moment.
At literally any
We've
moment.
had a few squalls of snow.
Yeah, I hit some snow a couple days ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it will be fun.
Oh, kisses.
And yeah, that's her thing.
So, feel free to email
even
either
spell here.
my email or Seven Seekers with any topics of
My own
interest.
name. I can't
Any,
seem to friggin' spell it.
any questions, we'll get to them.
Questions, suggestions.
This is was our maiden voyage, so we'll try
Well,
to.
for her channel,
Yeah,
yeah.
for my channel, we're gonna try to keep all
Yeah.
subsequent lives a little more managed and maybe shorter and more on point. But tonight was about having fun and
Getting to
guys
kind of know each other. You guys
see
get
the
to
real
know us.
see the real us on a.
See the real crazy.
The name that I just put, that's my Facebook. That's what my Facebook is under.
So support each other, be kind to one another. We appreciate all of you. You're
Just
definitely-
remember to put your YouTube name in a message to me. That way I know
Who it is.
Who you are.
who it is.
Same here. My
So-
Facebook is the same as my handle here on YouTube.
Yep. Draco
So-
Greenleaf.
Just make sure that you message me when you send the friend request, and it'll send me a message request first, and I'll see whose name goes to which handle.
Oh, my silly dog.
So
Boy.
we appreciate all of you, and we certainly couldn't do this without. Well, we probably would if no one was watching, but it's more fun to have you guys on the other side of
Yep.
the process. So we appreciate your input.
Yep.
We love your questions, any ideas, and like I said, be kind to one another. Come back and visit with us again,
Yep.
and we'll.
And I think we're gonna try to do live with the whole educational question answer thing, at least once a week on Robin's channel. Seventh Seekers. It is a group thing. What is it with me and the pens?
I don't know, but you need to stop touching that purple pen.
No, that's the second one.
Okay, it has moving parts you can't touch.
I've broken 2 pens since
Click,
I've been
click, click,
sitting
click,
here.
click, 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 click.
Yeah, Seventh Seekers. Okay, most of the time
Checkers.
we go live there too. We just have a good time. We play games and we do these silly
Oh
things.
yeah, check out the
We do
Pie
live
Face game.
EVPs and it's a little bit of everything, But follow us over there too.
Yeah, and we will follow you guys. We'll watch your videos. We'll watch
Yep.
what you upload. We'll
leave comments.
we'll hit the like buttons. We got you all on notifications. So if you guys ever do,
You need to clip
lives and
this
stuff,
cat's
we
claws.
will check them out. It's all about
Nikki's gonna
supporting
do it.
each other in this community. You guys are awesome. Thank you for
scratches by
hanging
the
out with
time the
us
night's
for
over.
You guys are all awesome.
almost 3 hours of just crazy
Just jabbing.
mania.
But you know what? We love you guys.
Yeah, we do. We appreciate you.
Peace and
Love
much
and
love
peace,
to
guys.
Guys, you can't see me. I'm with
Blessings.
you.
Later.